Hi everyone and welcome to Super Sunday here on the APAT Show. Tonight we are joined by larger-than-life duo Joe Chillmaid and Laura Rhoden to learn a little more about their poker background while giving them control of the show for the ultimate member takeover. We'll also have the finale of Squads and The Roller and Turbo Millionaire from 11 p.m. Okay guys, belt in and I'll be joined by Lee, Joe and Laura after this. Lee, I couldn't be more scared if we had Thelma and Louise on.
Really? I don't know what you're worried about.
I'm scared. I'm a little scared, Lee. I've got to tell you, I'm a little scared.
This will be fine, honestly, not a problem at all. So, as usual, I was out walking the dog with Jen earlier on, and Jen asked the question, "Who's on the show tonight?" And I said, "We have got Joe and Laura on." And she said, "Oh, is that Joe Chillmaid and Laura with the wine?" And I said, "Yeah, that's pretty much it." So a warm welcome to the show, Joe and Laura.
Hiya.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, ladies. How has your Sunday been?
I think it's about to get better.
Yeah, not too bad. Just chasing a puppy around.
Just chasing a puppy around. What Tone is called around, has he?
No, he's more trouble.
I think we should have Tony Trippier bingo tonight. How many times are we going to mention Tony Trippier? I think that's one of the challenges. Well, listen.
This book was born from obviously Tony coming on last Saturday, and you guys are both in the chat box and said we should go on the show. That'd be really great. And then today I got let down by somebody, so I was trying to find somebody. So I quickly just messaged you and said, "Were you guys serious?" And then all of a sudden, boom! Here you go. You're on the show.
Yeah, what he's not telling you about is the sort of slightly nervous text that he sent me halfway through the day saying, "Des, you'll never guess who I've got on tonight." Yeah, that we don't want to show that text message series in public. I have to say. So,
I actually said, "You never guess who I've got on tonight. I'm having the night off." Yeah.
He did. I think that was the start of it. So listen, guys, as you would expect this. There's a lot of people online currently listening in. So let's see if we can find out who's there. Scouse Bailiff is there. The one and only Tony. Tony.
Oh, Tony.
Tony Trippier is there.
Tony.
Did you hear that song last week? I bet you guys didn't hear it. You were probably being late. That was just one of the most amazing intro songs of all time. Tony. It was just fantastic. So Tony is there. Triplin is there. He was excellent on the show last night. That's our own Tristan Chaplin, of course. Dean Pearson is there. Asa McGrath is there. Craig Tranter is there. We've got Frank Bailey, Jason Chillmaid. Oh, hold on. Is that the kettle I can hear boiling? No, sorry, my mistake. Asa says, "Oh Christ, here we go. Evening all." I think that's how I feel a bit, I have to say, Asa, but we'll see how it goes. Tris says, "Evening all." Evening to you, Tris. Dave Potts is with us. Colin McCarthy's there. Peter Wigglesworth. Chris Hibbard. Joe, you're in the box as well. You say oi oi. You can actually say that out loud tonight. You can say that out loud.
Oi, oi.
Everybody will hear you.
You say that. I'm in the box. We're getting abused by Shirley already. It's been like 2 or 3
we'll
minutes
get to
already.
that. I'm expecting a lot of abuse tonight, I have to say. And listen, speaking of abuse, Tom Clark. Tom Clark is watching, and it does feel from the picture as if he's watching. I'm watching, right? And Tom is indeed a thorn stuck between two roses in that particular picture. Jason says, "Have we got a yam to English translation in the room?" Oh, that's nasty. That's downright nasty. Shirley is there, so she'll police the chat box. I'm sure there won't be too much abuse with Shirley there. Tom says, "Great photo." Well, he would, wouldn't he? "Who's that handsome guy in the middle?" he says. Yeah, I think we've addressed that one. Ben Burnhill is there. Scout says, "Look, 2 roses and a thorn in between." Absolutely. Andy Bayliss is there. Steve 40 is there. Ironside is back. So pleased to hear that Ironside is back. Tony says, "Yay." Steve says, "Lee is 3 miles from the mic." Lee, you got to come a bit closer to the mic.
Why does everybody think I'm 3 miles from the mic? I don't know.
It's just Steve. I think he really likes the sound of your voice. Tony says, "Bingo, yay." It's It's a bit of a low-key Tony intro, I have to say. Maybe he just hasn't had that half a pint of gin propulsion.
Maybe the gin's finally wearing off.
Yeah, maybe it's wearing off.
Drying out.
Yeah, Shirley says, evening, ladies. Yeah, apparently you've got to get close to the mic, Lee. And basically, Frank says, hi, guys. Ken McBride is with us. Jonathan Edelsheim is there. Jack Hipkiss is there. Jeff Talbot. Tony says, Bloody Shirley. To be honest, if he's moved on to Bloody Shirley so early in the night, I mean, he's going to be hammered by the end of the evening, isn't he?
I don't actually think I've seen so many people in the room at the start of a show.
It's a little weird. It's like they're crowded around just waiting for, I don't know, a member takeover from Joe and Laura. What could that possibly mean? Well, listen, before we get to that, and we're going to go there, guys, right? Frankly, I don't want to say too much at all for the first hour. I just want to sit back and watch what happens. Lee, now some of these guys, not all, but some of them will be playing poker tonight. So what's on the schedule?
Yeah, so it's Sunday night, which is the final game in the squads. We've got 152 runners in the No Limit Hold'em Deep Stack. We are down to 666. We're paying the top 20 in that, 174. And I'll tell you what, I don't think we've had a week where so many people can win so much stuff. It really is. I couldn't even tell you now with 66 runners left. That's definitely. But however, I have typed in my 15,000th name.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations to everyone. It's over 15,000 entries into poker squads in the last, we continue to say 10 weeks. We've been saying 10 weeks for about 13 weeks now.
No, it does feel like, but what we're going to do is we're going to, we're going to pay out entry to squads next week for them for the whole week.
Really?
In tournament dollars, yeah.
That's fantastic. I love it.
They will get 7 lots of $5.50. So if you bust squads somewhere around 25 to 10 tonight, so about 30 minutes ago, it might be you.
If you busted squads about 25 to 30 minutes ago, it might be you.
Yeah, because it's already been typed in. So it was about 9:35 the exit was, and I typed it in. It was the 15,000th name I've typed in since we've done squads.
Wow. Okay. So how are you going to do the reveal then?
Whenever we want to do it. I know exactly who it is. We can.
That's exactly the time I busted as well. This is interesting.
Oh, Joe, she's got a sort of a, what would you say, a horse in the race? A horse might be too big of a thing to have in the race, but she's in there, right? Is it Joe?
Well, if you bust somewhere in the 90s tonight, it could be you.
Where'd you bust, Joe?
No, it was about 9:35 because I know that was about the time that I messaged the guys to say you're on your own tonight, lads.
Hold on, I bust.
94th I was.
I busted around then. It's a week's. Yeah, I mean, for a week's worth of squads, I can bust whenever you want. I mean, are you kidding me? That's got to be worth how much? About $35?
Yeah.
Happy days.
38.50, I think it is. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Ooh.
Well, go on. I mean, if I had a drum roll, I'd give us a drum roll. I can give you.
You've got a drum roll for. So basically, I'll tell you the position. So if you bust in 94th place,
no way.
It's you. Who would that be?
No.
Yeah. Yes, it is you, Joe.
Really?
You are the 15,000th name that I've typed into squads in the past 12 weeks.
Oh my God! What good timing! I'm so glad
you genuinely could not write that, could you?
Listen, I don't know about you guys out there listening in, but that sounds like a bloody fix to me. That sounds like a bloody. Oh, hold on, I work for APAT. No, that's really great news. Congratulations, Joe. You enjoy your 35.
You my team are going to be listening to this going, I can't believe she fixed it just to get free entry next week. Probably cost us the squads. What?
It sounds like a fix to me, I have to say. Now I got to ask is, has every Turbo Millionaire guest been fixed as well? Now I want to know that too.
Well, I didn't want to say exactly when it would be or how we were going to do it because I thought that would be unfair because somebody might try and do that. So I left it as we'll let it run and then just call it out. And as I was typing them in, going, I'm getting close to this, and then saw who it was. No way, that's insane. That's the squads tonight. But obviously, our focus for the night to start with will be on the Sunday roller. 72 people in that. We've got 12 left, and we're paying top 9. up top tonight, Des, and you always like it when we get to four figures. It is $1,067.
Nice.
Up top tonight. So going to be a lovely score for somebody. And there's a bunch of heroes still in this. So
wow.
It's going to be very, very good to watch. So we're 12 left and we're paying top 9. So.
Laura, if you had $1,067, right? If you won this thing, you could do anything with $1,000. What would you do next week? What would you spend the money on? And don't be sensible.
Probably a trip to Vegas for next year.
Wow. Would you get to Vegas with $1,000? You could spend it over there for sure.
Well, you could get there. I mean,
yeah.
that'd be it.
Well, to be fair, I was quite shocked that I actually got there before. People were taking bets on me because I had to fly on my own. And I had to change flights as well. And people were like taking bets on where I was going to end up. I think we had Iran, Afghanistan, and Iceland.
Cost me 20 quid, that did.
I was going to say, that must have been a really cheap flight. It sounded like it was going via a lot of different destinations.
That was like one of the scariest things I'd ever done because I had to change in New York.
Oh, yeah.
So I got on the plane at JFK and I was just running, following these poor people. You know, like Home Alone, lost in New York?
Yeah.
I was just chasing them around with my little backpack. And then we get to, like, immigration. And we stood there, and there's this huge, like, big American security guard, you know, full gun and everything.
Sorry,
says,
a full gun? You had a full gun?
Like a full
as
gun,
opposed to a half gun, or?
Yeah, as opposed to a half gun. Anyway, he looked at me and he went, "Why are you here?" I went, "I'm getting a connecting flight to Vegas." And he went, No, why are you here? I went, "I've got friends."
Oh, man.
Carry on.
Oh, how you didn't get hauled into a back room and get the full glove treatment is beyond me with that sort of response. Oh, no.
Visions of, like, being arrested on sight and phoning Brian Green.
Are you not really much of a traveller then, Laura? Or
no, not on my own. Every time I go anywhere, something goes wrong. Like I missed the flights to Dublin, to Belfast, despite being in the airport 2 hours before the flight left.
Oh, gee. Somebody call Netflix. I mean, I think there's value in this. What the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell just happened there? Did aliens invade?
That was weird.
Okay.
Right, sorry. So
right.
got to Dublin.
I thought your puppy had just defecated all over the floor, Laura. I got to be honest.
No, she's already done that. I was trying to run around the kitchen with the mop. Honestly, she's a nightmare. Yeah, we're going to Belfast. Got to the airport, decided to have breakfast. I said, "Oh, we got to go now. The flight board's at 8:30. It turns out it actually left at 8:30. Looking through the window. Then we went to Coventry for an APAT, APAT. Anyway, I got to the hotel, walked in, and they asked, do you have a booking? I said, yes, gave them my name and a booking reference. They went, "You're not down as here?"
Oh,
I went,
no.
"I booked it on booking.com. What do you mean?" They went, "What hotel did you book?" I went, "What hotel did I book? This one? I'm not just going to turn up to a random hotel. This one?" Showed them the booking and went, "No, love, you're at the wrong hotel."
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Laura,
Still doesn't top Shirley's story.
So how challenging was your PhD then?
Oh, my life. See, my PhD's not going too bad. I'm okay at stuff like that. Like, I can tell you the ins and outs of psychology all night and I'll be spot on. But ask me to work the washing machine or live my daily life without a major disaster and
Oh, that's brilliant. I'll swap you because I reckon I could get to Belfast on a plane, right? I'd walk in very carefully, I have to say. I could get to Belfast on a plane, but I'm not doing the whole psychology and PhD stuff. You can keep that, I have to say. That sounds really hard.
It's not too bad. I'm lecturing now as well, which
brilliant.
Has been a nightmare during lockdown. But it does so much for you. Your PhD as a journey in itself. Like when you're teaching undergraduates and postgrads, when you're teaching them, it kind of makes you realise that, hang on, I do kind of know what I'm on about.
Yeah. Wow. I'm just picturing it because when you think of lecturing, right, you think of typically, middle-aged, slightly older white blokes with stuffy jackets and all of that sort of stuff. You don't quite fit that profile, do you?
No, I think I'm probably one of the unusualist members of the psychology department ever.
I would have thought so. And tell me, how do you manage that? Do you get any grief from your students because of that?
No. The students are fantastic. We've never had anything like that at all. They're all just, happy to be on board. And I think one of the good things about, like, especially with me and my students as well, is that I always tell them about my own experiences. Like the first time I went to uni when I was 18, I dropped out after a year. I've worked in bars and dead-end jobs. And so I think I kind of relate to that.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. What a success story. And tell me, when does the PhD finish, Laura?
I've got roughly about 18 months left.
And how are you feeling at this point? Are you happy with the way it's all going?
Petrified at the minute, to be honest. I've got sort of everything I need to finish the PhD now. It's just putting it all together and writing everything up. I mean, I've got 4 or 5 studies that I'm in the middle of writing up as well. It's just fitting it all together. But the worst thing is when people say, oh, what do you do? And I say, forensic psychology, and I'm doing a PhD. And then they say, well, what is it about? And I have to say, well, child sexual offending. They're like, really? I'm like, but then I come out with the worst, which is, oh, yeah, I love child sexual offending. And they just look at me with that face. I'm like, no, I don't mean that. What I mean is...
Wow. Wow, we've just gone to a dark place, Lee. I don't know how we get it back out of this. I loved it. I loved the bit where she was sort of saying, I was afraid of ending up in Iran. That was just funny, right? That was quite funny. But my God,
it seems to be our Sunday, but it's just real life. It's our Sunday real life thing. I mean, we had Shirley on last week that was telling us about some of the cases that she's got involved in and the things that she's she did. Or was it she was saying about the 3-year block of getting stuff to through, and it's what goes on out there, and it's important that you talk about these things, and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm involved in like other research projects as well. There's like I've got sort of 3 contracts running with the uni at the minute, like research assistants and stuff. And we're looking at sort of like online groups and hate groups and how these transfer like to people to consider stuff like terrorist activities and that.
Yeah, well.
So it's all really interesting. And the best thing about it is that even though when you're doing it, it's interesting, it all goes towards like prevention.
Yeah.
And it all goes towards helping victims. So you can actually like resonate that you are making a difference. Do you know what I mean? And
what do you think, Laura, in 18 months time when the PhD, do you think you'll stay within the academic circles, or do you think you'll then look to see what you can do with then your skills and your experience more real world, or do you think you'll stay university side?
Yeah, I definitely want to stay university side for about a year or 2. I want to find my feet. I want to get used to like everything within, being a doctor and what that actually entails. See, with forensic psychology, it's such a diverse area that there's so many you can go to. So I want to see what's out there. I want to, find my feet in a job as well. Because don't forget, I've been skint now for nearly 7 years.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I need to start earning some money as well.
What do you think would that job be if you had your ability just to pin the tail on that donkey? Which job would you love to have, Laura, 2-3 years down the line?
This is the funny story, because when everyone asks me why I chose to do psychology, it was always because I wanted to be Robson Green. Robson Green did a
soldier.
Yeah, sorry, can you sing?
Yeah, Robson Green did a TV series years ago called Wire in the Blood.
Yeah,
and he was a clinical psychologist, and he used to like help the police on their unusual cases. And I always wanted to be Robson Green. Now, unfortunately, that job in itself doesn't actually exist like it does on the telly. But I'd love to do something like that, or work perhaps with rehabilitating offenders and things.
Yeah, wow, that's heady stuff, Lee. I mean, we've had some heady stuff on over the last few weeks, but boy, that's way up there. That's amazing. Well,
Shirley says in the chat box, "Keep up the good work, Laura." Which is,
thank you.
Very right. Yeah.
Would you? I mean, we forgot. I feel particularly guilty about this, but I forgot to ask Shirley when she was on last Sunday night whether, in fact, she kept a little box of chalk in her inside pocket.
That's all you were going on
it's
about
important.
For like days in advance.
And I forgot, Lee, because it was such a good discussion that we'd had, and obviously Vince was on as well, and he was much more interested in forensic tax accounting, right? So it was like going from one extreme to the other. But Laura, I mean, if you work hard enough, could you someday get a little box of chalk that you could, or is it not that sort of forensics?
No, it's not that sort of forensics.
Damn.
Unfortunately. There's too much blood and guts in that one for me.
Yeah.
I don't mind reading about it, but I don't want to see it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Joe, what do you think of Laura doing this? It's pretty damn impressive,
Oh,
isn't
it's
it?
incredible. Honestly, I'm so proud of her because obviously when I met Laura, she had, I think, just...
She was drunk.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
she was drunk. I mean, I will...
She was drunk when I met her. Really?
Yeah.
Did we meet her at the same time or what? I mean...
No, just coincidence. Just sheer coincidence. No, do you know what? Later on, we'll talk about the first time we met because I actually found a photo of that earlier today and I sent it to Laura and I was like, do you even remember this? But no, when I first met Laura, I don't think she'd even started her undergraduate.
Just started.
Or she just... I think we met in the October and you would literally just started it.
Yeah.
So obviously I've known her through that and her masters and this, and the amount of times that, and this isn't a negative or anything else, but the amount of times that she sent me, oh my god, I think I've flunked this one, or oh, this is like, oh, can you proofread this, or this I think this one's going to be shit, or
the other week as well, I was like, I'm just on the verge of packing it in. It's all
and every time I've said to her, just look at how far you've come till now, and you know what, she obviously doing a PhD, 3 contracts with the uni, a house,
young mom.
Obviously she's got her son, she's got a partner, she's got a bloody puppy, and it is incredible. It is absolutely incredible what she does.
Just get rid of the puppy, right? Let's start by just getting rid of the puppy.
Send it to me.
Just get rid of the puppy, Laura, right? That's number one.
Biting my arm at the minute. I look like I've been attacked.
Oh God, that's fantastic. So well done. That is pretty amazing stuff. And tell me, Laura, so we've learned a bit about Joe's poker journey, right? And what a last few weeks it's been for Joe, everyone, right? But how did you get into poker? Where did that link come from? I mean, were you playing young with family, or how did you get in there?
Yeah, I started playing years ago. I can't actually remember how someone taught me to play. I remember being on holiday with my family and the flight was delayed. And me and my dad and this guy that we'd met over there, I think I'd be about 12-ish, we were sort of playing like poker for matchsticks.
Yeah.
And my granddad always taught me loads of card games. He taught me like 3 cards and everything, and brag and stuff like that. So from a young age, I'd always played cards. And then I just started playing like pub games. Yeah. £5, just your local pub games and stuff.
And this was at the age of 12, yeah?
Oh, yeah, of course. I was in
Yeah.
And then, obviously, when I got a little older, we found the BCPC, and it was through the BCPC that I found APAT.
Ah, okay, that's good. What a group! The BCPC.
Oh, they're amazing.
Why don't we take 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Let's take all the rest of the show and just talk about the BCPC. So we've had a bunch of the lads on. We had Gaz on first, and he was the howl, I have to say. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And, of course, we had Tony on last week. He's still recovering somewhere in the chat box. He's recovering. He's got a sore head. We
were going to get Todd on, but Des touched him early on.
Yeah. Todd don't come round here no more, I have to say.
No, so, yeah.
Touch Todd Wood.
Touch Todd Wood, right? So there's a story behind that, Laura. There was nothing sexual involved, I have to say. But we love the BCPC, guys. I mean, you seem to have been around forever, always the life and soul of the party, and love to see you, all traveling off to Vegas and doing your own thing. And was really sad to see your pub going. What remind me what it's called again? The
New Talbot.
The New Talbot. Really sad to see that. Do you know, has Brian sourced a new pub yet?
We've got a few on the line.
Great. Okay.
It depends when the government allows us to go use them and how it's going to work with social distancing and stuff. But I think there are a few options.
So there are a few options. Well, that would be good to see, because I'd hate the club to, go under or lose members because you're moving too far away or whatever it is.
Force Brian to have it in his living room if that was going to come to that.
Yeah, well, to be honest. Yeah.
And to be honest, Brian would do that, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would. Yeah. Absolutely. So tell us some stories then. So you've joined the BCPC. I mean, what a bunch of lads and lasses. I mean, there's some girls in there, right?
Yeah, there's quite a few girls, and the girls are up and coming now. So I was the first female champion of the BCPC, and then since me, I think Claire's won a league. A couple of the other girls have won games and stuff, and had a few noticeable patches. So it's quite nice to see the girls coming up as well.
And what was your welcome like there? I mean, did the guys, so you were the first girl in, did the guys find it odd? Did they were they a bit awkward around trying to play poker against you?
I mean, there was a few other women there when I started.
Good, okay.
I think they're not members anymore. But when I went, I sat there all quiet, feeling a little bit awkward. I thought, I don't know, am I going to fit in here okay? And then I started talking to Tony.
Ah, Tony.
And then by the end of the night, it was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. These guys are amazing. It was just Tony.
Tony, hold on. Here we go. Tony, 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 Tony. Oh, that's such a great song. I might download that. I think I'll put that on my phone as a ringtone, perhaps for Tony. No, I love Tony. I think he's absolutely spectacular. So when did you have your most successful period with the group in terms of playing?
That's got to be the season I won it. I think I made the final table every single game. So all of the 6 games I made final table. I remember the game I won. I was playing against a guy called Matt Wilson, and I felt that sorry for him when I won that game because I was absolutely slaughtered. So I had no idea how I'd won. Poor Matt was driving and he was sober all night, and he just sort of looked in utter disbelief and said, "What the hell has just happened?" But yeah, I did great. But since then, I have done horrendous. I think I've made like 1 final table in the last 2 years or something.
Well, yeah, but your priorities have changed, right?
Yeah, I think that's because back then I was playing quite a lot of poker. Like, we'd play online quite a lot. We'd regularly go to APAT, and if I went out, we'd always end up at the casino playing cash. But since uni's got busy, I haven't done any of that. So I think, like when you're sort of like rusty, and you forget what you're doing almost.
Yeah. Well, listen, down the line, when everything begins to lighten off again, I get a sense that poker isn't going anywhere. I mean, it's got a bit of a boom. It's had a bit of a boom over the last few months, as we know, through lockdown. A lot of people who haven't been playing for quite some time have remembered it again, and I suspect they'll continue to dip in and dip out. So I think poker's going to be here for forever.
Laura, does anything you've done with your education with uni and everything in your course have any skill sets that you could use with poker?
You'd think, wouldn't
psychology? Well, I didn't know, because it's psychology, but it's slightly different, isn't it?
That's a good question.
You'd think, wouldn't you? But one of the key things we learn is that the whole people say, you can tell when someone's lying because they do this, that, the other. Well, that's been like debunked so often in psychology. That's why, police, men and women can't just look at someone and go, oh yes, they're lying. It's not how it works on the TV.
Yeah, they looked up to the left, and I knew they'd done it.
It's not that kind of thing. But no, I mean, I think maybe if I put my mind to it, but when I start sit down at the poker table, I'm there for fun. I try and let all my work and stress and everything else is just out the window, and I'm just there to play a game and have a laugh with friends and enjoy it really. Ow, sorry, I've just been bitten by ow. The dog is off me.
As Mika decided that the squeaky toy is no fun anymore.
Yeah, she's like,
whereas mum would be far more interesting. Yeah?
I'm trying to think what movie was it that some dog or something swallowed a squeaky toy or something? Was
Snatch.
Snatch, was it? Oh, I remember that. Was so funny. That was
brilliant.
That was hilarious. Joe, we had your boy on the football show just over a week ago. Did you hear any of his contribution?
Yeah, I did actually.
So Arsenal were given somewhat of a pasting, I have to say. So
I'm not very funny. As an Arsenal fan, who on earth puts himself up for that when you're playing a team like that?
You don't.
As well?
It's not the one you go for. To be honest, he was 57th on our list. The other 56 weren't available. They were washing their hair and doing stuff like that.
Fair play to Jason, absolute trooper, because I think he knew what was probably coming, and he
was good.
He still stepped up and said, "Well, I'll do this." So fair play to him.
Yeah, but
Phil Tompkinson saves himself. We're on the bubble here in the roller. Ace 10 Phil just had, and he's actually, I think he's just bust the other short stack. Who had King 7 hit a king, and Phil's hit the ace on the river, and I think we are down to 9. So these guys could all be in the money.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was Tom Bacon that he actually just bust. So it was on the not the table that we're watching. It's on the other table, but we have 9, and they are all in the money. So well done to all of those.
Fantastic. So we'll get down to the fun part of that tourney going forward now, I have to say. So tell me, Joe, do you guys have pets?
Yeah, we've got a dog. We've got a Labrador as well.
Oh, you got a bloomin'. You have a busy household.
Yeah, I have to say, up until December, we were actually 5 kids, 3 dogs. And we lost one of our Labradors last June, and we lost our little terrier who was, oh my God, he was like 19 in December.
Wow,
so we
19 is amazing.
It is. So we are a 1-dog house at the moment.
Wow.
But our Labrador, both our
same as
Labradors.
us.
Yeah, I did see that actually. Both our
Yeah.
Labs also were both rescue dogs as well. So
sweet.
we're kind of holding out for another dog, but it's got to be obviously kind of.
What I will say to you at the moment is there is so many people looking to rescue dogs, and there's not that many dogs out there at the moment needing rescue. There is a ridiculous number of applications in at the moment with all rescue charities. And it's a funny one, and even things like the cost of puppies have gone through the roof.
We noticed that like the normal price that you should pay for our husky was, around an £800 maximum mark. All the pups online now are like for $2,000 and stuff.
Yeah, we're seeing that as well. A lot of that. Yeah.
I think as well. I read an article literally this morning actually, and they were saying about there's like a national shortage of puppies because everybody's getting a dog in lockdown. Yeah. And there was quite a lot of concern. I mean, years ago, before I got into specification and house builders and stuff, I actually worked at a big animal charity with rescue dogs, and they've actually Wood Green have actually come out today and said that whilst there's this kind of puppy boom now, they fully expect that as we go back to normality and we get towards Christmas, there will also be a kind of rescue boom as such.
Yeah,
and
I was on a Zoom call this morning with the operations team for the Labrador Rescue Trust. We had a 2-hour meeting this morning, and pretty much we are preparing for an end of year sort of crisis of basically having to deal with so many dogs coming in. At the moment nothing at all, but we are preparing ourselves for what's going to come at the end of the year.
Yeah, we would have definitely gone for a rescue, but Jack's 10 and Jack had quite a serious allergy when he was little to dogs.
Okay, you've got to be sensible. Yeah.
And what that did is, because he was allergic to the dogs, he was like quite scared of them.
Yeah.
So when me and Scott got together and he had Mia, I was like, God, what's he going to do with a full-grown husky? How's he going to cope? And he took to her straight away. His allergies were completely fine.
Oh, wow.
So Jack's never really had his own pet to grow up with. So we went for, obviously, the pup, but we've said, our next dog will probably 100% be a rescue.
Yeah. A friend of mine's got huskies. She used to have about six or seven as a pack, and amazing dogs. Absolutely amazing dogs. So just on the table we're not watching, Phil Tompkinson's got it all in against Yanni and Dean
We're watching
Pearson.
it now.
Oh, you're watching now. He's got aces, and he's held up. So we're on the final table.
Okay.
We have our 8, and to say we've got some heroes on here. So Yanni's made it onto this final table just with 18,000. Gordon MacArthur's got 200k. Niels from Sweden's got nearly 300,000. Andy Wilson's in there as well with 350,000. Phil TC is on the final table with 417,000. We've got Jacko from the Netherlands in 3rd place at the moment with 622. Mark Kingan's got 624. And our chip leader going onto this final table is Christopher Johnson with 970,000. These guys are playing for just over $1,000 up top. So good luck to all of them.
So are we each going to pick a winner, Lee?
Well, there's only one person in my eyes, but I'm happy to go last. So who are you going for, guys?
You just looking at them stacks. Oh, I'm going to say G-Mac. I really want to see G-Mac win something. He's had some really, really deep runs lately in lots of different things. So it'd be really, really nice to see him get it over the line. But I think it's going to be a bit of a challenge.
G-Mac's capable of doing it, I tell you. Just one double and he's back in.
Yeah, definitely.
How about you, Laura? Who do you think?
I can't see the table because my phone's broke. So
that's all right. We'll go with the. Do you want the chip leader, or do you want the guy from the Netherlands? Yeah.
Oh, see, I always normally favour the underdog. So I'd probably go for an underdog.
Yeah, okay. Have the guy from the Netherlands.
They don't get any far under than Yanni at the moment.
Yanni hasn't even got one big blind, so yeah, probably
unlucky Laura, but you've just got Yanni. He's a lovely bloke, but he hasn't got many chips. I have to say. I would have to go for TC, right?
Well, that was exactly who I would.
Hey, got to go for TC.
got to pick TC. Who's got it all in with ace 9 against kings, and that it gets an ace on the river there.
Right, I'm fancying Leonide tonight. I think we could have nailed the winner there, but we will see.
Yeah.
Oh, Yanni's
We'll
all
see
in,
what
Laura.
happens.
We'll talk you through this.
Danny's all in for one small blind.
He's all in. He might not get a caller with his half a big blind.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they're both going to sneeze and call him here, I can tell.
I think we might see some cards here, yeah.
These are the smallest droplets of chips that we're seeing going into the middle. Oh, God, there's a raise. Jacob's raised it up to 120k.
Oh.
TC.
I told you.
Oh, here we go. We could see 3 of us going out here. No.
Oh, he's got a pair.
He's
got a
ahead.
pair.
Oh, there's the ace. Oh, it's another ace. I'm surprised he didn't quad up on the end there, Laura, I have to say, to take your bloke out.
Laura, I cannot believe you would kabok Yanni like that. I mean,
Yeah,
seriously.
he was in good shape. He was in good shape up to the pick.
I mean, didn't give him a chance.
She's going to Matt Daled him, isn't she?
Yeah, completely. Completely.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. Did you see that Matt on his one? Have you seen him on his one wheel?
Yeah, that looks terrifying.
That looks insane. And it's just perfect for Matt.
Scary.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt's 62. It's amazing how well he looks for 62. But I feel he shouldn't be doing that sort of stuff now at that sort of advanced age. Not because he doesn't have seatbelts or anything. It's like you've got to stand in it. You've got to stand in it. Obviously, you can bend your legs a bit, right? So it's not all bad.
Yeah.
Dear, oh dear.
The thing is, one of these days he'll actually buy himself a lid that actually fits his head as well, because it looks like he's on.
He's trying to get all that hair in it. That's
12,
the problem.
some sort of 12-year-old
Hairy.
crash helmet. Yeah.
Did I tell you about the time that he gave me a spin in his car? Right, there was no sweets involved. I promise you, there was no sweets involved. We were at Dust Till Dawn. We were doing the APAT Worlds. It would have been back in, I'm going to say 2011 or 2011, 2012. And we were staying at the same hotel, so we came in. You know, I trained up, and Matt came via his Lotus. I don't know, was it a Lotus Esprit or something? It was like the James.
Elise, I think he had.
Was
an
it the Elise?
I think. Yeah, I think it was an Elise. Yeah.
Fucking tiny, I have to say. So anyway, we're at the hotel in the morning, and I said, "Hey Matt, can I get a lift over to the venue with you?" And he went, "Oh yeah, you know, absolutely." So he's delighted, you know, he's got his Lotus. So I came out and saw this fucking card protector that had 4 wheels on it. I mean, it was just it was just insane. So he lifts the door and he says, "Right, you know, in you go." And I'm thinking, well, I've got this like small bag with a laptop in it and shit for updating and stuff. I said, "Matt, I can't even fit this in the passenger seat. Can I put this in the boot?" So he goes back and he opens up the space where I expect the engine to be. And there was like a tiny, tiny little space. So I just managed to squeeze my laptop bag into it. Got back into the car and we drive 2 miles over to DTD. And there's a bunch of people outside the venue waiting to get in. So naturally, I'm practically horizontal in this car, right? My arse is practically on the tarmac Adam. I can feel the heat of the midday sun on my arse as we're driving along, right? I'm that close to the bottom. So anyway, we pull into DTD car park. I see all these people and I say, "Listen, Matt, do me a favor. Just pull it to the back. Go right. Let's go to the back of the car park. We can exit, you know, with a bit of grace, and you know, it'll all be fine, right?" So, well, no. Matt pulled straight into Rob Young's spot, right outside the door. There's a line of people looking at, look at these flash buggers have just pulled up in a Lotus, and Matt thinks this is a great idea because we're both wearing our APAT tops, right? And I think this is the worst idea ever for all sorts of reasons. Not less when he opens the door and he sort of says, "Right, Des, you can get out now." Well, I can't get out because I'm horizontal in the car. I'm lying in there. I think it even had a fucking roll cage, the car did. So the only way you can get out is to explode out. So I exploded out of the car, sort of landed on the ground on my knees. It was just... There was about 200 people in the line. Sinclair was looking at me, sort of just wondering whether, in fact, he should let me in. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. Now I've told everybody.
Could you not have jumped out like Dukes of Hazzard?
It just wasn't possible.
Yeah.
I'd have taken the ejector seat option had there been one. It was impossible. It was just like, unless you were Matt. Matt got out with like
say,
some
so
sort of belt.
You've seen Des in his tight jean shorts then as well, yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, they've got sparkles on the artery.
Oh
Yeah.
Well, they did until he got in that car. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I think my zipper went. Yeah, there you go. Never again, Matt Dale.
Well, he's got all sensible since then, hasn't he? So
well, if you call a one wheel sensible.
Well,
Maybe he'll offer to give me a
Consider-
piggyback on his one wheel next time.
yeah, that
Yeah,
would,
no,
that would be
I'm
interesting.
gonna pass on that. Not unless there's some sort of royalty option, because that video could sell, I'm sure. Back in the good old days of Matt Dale, yes, and his Lotus. Do you remember that, Lee?
Oh, I do.
Did you ever get an
yeah,
invite to go in?
I've had a gin. I'm trying to think where we were. I remember parking in some underground hotel car park, and I can't think which venue we were at.
Did he have like a head-shaped hole in the roof for you? I mean, how did that work?
But my favorite, yeah. But my favourite Matt story is when he had his van and he got his van stuck in one of the car parks, underground car parks. I'm trying to think where that was. It might have been Aspers or somewhere like that. But basically, yeah, the headroom thing wasn't right. And he basically, yeah.
Oh dear.
Nothing. It's never boring when Matt's around. That's
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's why we like to advise him on how to play poker every now and again.
For sure. Yeah.
Oh, Laura, you missed that. Was the best night ever in the NHS game, wasn't it?
Oh, it was.
Is what, sorry?
The NHS charity game that they had when Des and Lee peer pressured poor old Matt into shoving. So he shoved, busted, rebought, and then busted the first hand of his rebuy. And that was the end of that. I don't think anyone's actually heard from him poker-wise since. That was the last game we had.
It's a lot. Yeah, he hasn't played.
And I
Since.
thought what was really brilliant was in the short period between him sort of, us going to his table and starting to talk about him and him busting twice and like throwing, flicking 50 quid a time at these re-entries. We did a little interview with him where he said he just joined the NHS and he was sort of on the front line doing the IT stuff, and we played the sad music. We did all of that. And next thing you know, he's flicking 50s into a poker table. It's unbelievable.
But all for a good cause.
All for a good cause. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think most of that cause went to you, Joe, if I'm not mistaken. Matt's 50s.
Yeah, fair whack of it did. Thanks, Matt.
I'd put those 50s on the wall if you can. I'd hold on to those.
Oh, they're framed and up on the wall. They're in the downstairs toilet wall. That's it. Framed, mounted.
Oh, don't tell Matt he's got that sort of media exposure. Honestly.
Be knocking on my door now. You wait.
Yeah.
Oh no! Yeah. So listen, you ladies have obviously travelled a fair bit playing the poker. Give us some stories. So we've heard mention of Coventry, right? You've mentioned Coventry. We've heard, Vegas has been mentioned. We've got to come back and talk about Vegas. But I heard Luton was mentioned. What the hell happened in Luton?
Oh my God.
What happened in Luton, Laura?
Oh
right,
my
what
God.
was, I have to. Do you know what? I have to ask you, Laura. What was it you called that bloke all day at the table in Luton?
Well, this whole story is Lee's fault, right?
Lee's fault?
Oh, really?
Really?
Oh, wow, okay. Okay.
What happened was we were in the queue to buy in, and this guy stood behind me, and Brian Yates went up to this guy and put his hands on his shoulders, went, "All right, mate." And when this guy turned round, Brian went, "Oh, sorry, you're not Lee."
He looks nothing like Lee.
I know, nothing at all. And anyway, as luck would have it, me, Brian, and this guy end up on the same table. And I might have had a drink or two. And I decided for the 6 or 7 hours of play to call this guy Dane Bowers for the
Dane Bowers, that was it.
So now you're saying that Dane Bowers looks a bit like Lee. That's what you're saying here, indirectly.
It was all right.
I don't know what to say.
Too bad until I ended up sat on the table as well.
Yes, and then we got Jonas.
Played Cilla Black.
Yeah, so I just laid into this guy for the whole game.
Oh, poor
And
fella.
then, that was the game. I bust in the worst way ever. I forget. I had something ridiculous like what was he? I think I had like King Jack or something, and someone else had an ace, and they hit the ace. Then I hit a king, so I was like, right, I need a jack. The river card was a jack.
No.
So I jump up and down thinking, well, hey. And then the dealer says, oh, sorry, that's the burn.
Oh, no, what?
Oh,
he turned the burn up?
I was like, are you for real, mate?
Wow.
Was that the same Luton where Stu Ward
Yeah.
offered to serve up a small child with somebody's mineral water because they weren't drinking at the table?
No, that was bloody. I think
that was Luton.
Coventry,
No, that was another Luton, I'm sure.
Was it another Luton? It was like me and Stu Ward were at a table, and like the valet comes over and says, do you want some drinks? So he goes, snake bite, lager, Guinness, all the way around. And I think it was, was it Simon Brook? He went, "Can I have a mineral water, please?" And she was, "A fucking mineral water, mate. Do you want a small boy with that as well?" And the dealer and this valet just looking absolute disgust. They just didn't even crack a smile at all.
Oh. Little did he know that what he was actually offered was Ben Burnhill. I can say that because obviously I'm dad. I'm dad. I can say that. I can say that.
Childline, Ben, 0800 1111, mate.
Yeah, call Esther.
So that was Luton. And tell us, Coventry? What happened in Coventry? So somebody else, hold on, Jason, right? Your better half, Joe. Your better half, Jason. No, hold on. That doesn't work, does it? Jason said, "What about Cardiff? What the hell happened in Cardiff?"
Oh my God! Please don't mention Cardiff.
I think we're going to mention Cardiff.
Cardiff was just...
When was this? Set the scene. Tell us the time.
Yeah, so this was 2016, I think. Was it 2016, Lil?
September in 2016, yeah. I got a lift down with Todd Wood and Jack Hitley.
You were quite a last-minute addition, weren't you, I think?
Yeah, we were drinking sours in the car on the way down.
Oh, for God's sake.
On Saturday.
I got the most drunk I have ever been in my life. And look, Jack and Tony literally carried me back to my room. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have got back. But we were outside in the smoking area. Joe, I'll let you carry on because you.
Oh no, this is
made me want to crawl up my own arse with a story.
we were outside the smoking area. There was a normal sort of PC crowd. Me, Laura, Tony, Jack, Andy Overton was there. A couple of others. Oh God, Dave, that was the weekend where I mortally offended Dave Pilkington as well. But yeah, so he was there as well, and we're all sort of sitting outside chattering and what have you. And if I remember, Laura you were single, weren't you? Quite newly single. Yeah. And I'd had it. Obviously, you've had a few drinks. I'm saying to her, "It's all right. We'll set you up with someone this week. That's what we'll find you a really nice guy this weekend." And she's like, "Mate, I'm not interested. It's I'm quite happy." No, Laura, I'm going to find you a lovely man. So a lovely man came out into the smoking area. He was relatively good looking. He was really nice. And he sort of, we were all sitting there chatting.
Sorry, Pilko, you say?
No, yeah, and his name was Dave Pilkington, and end of story. No, so he comes over and he's kind of starts chatting to us, which you've got to be a pretty, seeing us all out in full force, you've got to be pretty brave just to come over and chat anyway. So, well played him. And he comes over and he starts chatting, and, me having had more than a couple of pints, decided to sort of tell him, this is my friend Laura, and she's newly single, and what then ensued was the weirdest wingman act that I've possibly
it was the most mortifying evening of my life.
I was your wingman, stop it. He soon found out that there was a comparison between Laura's personality versus her maybe prowess in the bedroom, and then there was a comparison between certain body parts and her image and stuff like that. And then me and I think it might have been Andy Overton went on to explain to the guy exactly what Laura would do for a KFC, and he very quickly put out his cigarette that he'd had one puff of, walked back into the casino, right to the front door, left the casino, and that was it. We never saw him again for the rest of the night. Saw him again.
Oh dear.
And Laura never ever asked me to be her wingman again.
What she actually told him was she's got shit tits, but she's...
Hold on, guys. I'm going to find the over 18 button. It's got to be here somewhere. We haven't had to use it, but I'm sure it's here somewhere. Well, yeah, that's just...
trying to be diplomatic.
It's like you broke the guy and literally you just met him. It was insane.
And we were just like, "Where's our new friend?" He's gone inside. And we all poked our head inside and went, "Oh shit, he's actually leaving." And that was it, he'd gone.
That's what I mean, because he come out all smiles and everything, and then just sort of put out the cigarette, shook his head, and was like, no way, I'm off.
It sounds like he came out a man and he walked away a boy. It sounds a little like that, I have to say.
Yeah, it was an experience. Everyone says their first APAT is an experience.
Absolutely.
It definitely was an experience.
Never going to repeat
wow.
it.
I'll tell you.
Ace King versus Kings versus King Jack, and unfortunately we lose Gordon in
Lucky Gordon
in the midst of all of that.
So listen, Yanni is in the chat box, and he says, evening all, and Yanni, we've got an apology to make. Unfortunately, we balked you, mate. You mightn't have been aware of this, but Laura, we were picking.
You say we. I mean,
I'm going to tell it. I'm going to tell it exactly the way it was. So we decided we're going to pick a player each for the final table. As we reach the final table, and Laura said, "Well, I like an under, what, a long shot? I can't remember what we said."
She said, I quite like a KFC. That was what she said.
Yeah, and straight away Yanni was gone. He was gone, not to be seen in the tournament. So, you only had 10,000 chips at the time. You were indeed the underdog, and she fingered you, so to speak, and gone. You were gone.
Wow, apparently.
I think that's fair.
I've heard the KFC story before.
What's the KFC story?
What the guy in Cardiff for the KFC, and that's it.
So, but obviously, I mean, that's not the only story Laura's got from Cardiff, because a few years before that, you final tabled an APAT.
Yes, I did. I finished 5th in the end, and I was like, this was when I'd sort of just got into poker, so I wasn't that experienced or anything, and so I managed to make this final table, and then made the worst decision ever when on the final table, I think there were 2 all-ins before me, and I was last to act, and I folded Ace King. And it's haunted me ever since.
Oh, really? I'm assuming, therefore, you would have won that hand with Ace King.
Yeah, 2 aces on the flop.
Oh,
At the time, all I was thinking about was, like, I've never been in this situation before. I'm going against 2 people. Ace King is just ace high,
Oh, well, no, but you're thinking all the right things at the time,
Yeah, but and hindsight's a wonderful thing. I mean, if that flop could have easily come different, and I could have been going, I made the best decision ever.
Yeah.
I mean, that particular event was won by Warren Jones. I mean, and what's he won? I mean, he's won. He's nothing. Nothing, is he? I mean, he's not,
do you know? There's somebody you need to get on the show.
Yeah, actually, that's Warren. A good call. Warren's won what, 2 APATs, and he was part of the Welsh Internationals. He's probably won quite a few events, I have to say. Legend, top guy Warren. We've got a lot of top guys in APAT, haven't we?
Oh God, yeah.
Not, just really good people. They keep coming back and back. I can never figure it out, I have to say, but they keep coming back. It's brilliant.
It's brilliant. A lot of people always ask me, like, where do you play poker? What do you do? And I always tell them about the APAT. And I said, it's brilliant because you get the same people. I said, so you end up seeing your best friends for a game of poker, and you just have, like, the best laugh you will ever have anywhere. I don't think anything can quite compare.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and we've all...
Go on, Joe.
Go on, Lauren. No, go on.
Sorry. I remember being on a table in... It was Luton again, but he was, when they'd just done the back card room out.
Oh, when they did the new big one,
yeah. It was then, and there was me. Next to me was Stu. Next to Stu was Tony. We had, I think, Adam Sharples and.
Oh, that wasn't was that the team event?
Yes, I think it was.
Were you on the table where I sent? Who was comment? Was it Lucy commented? I sent her over to, and Tony Mayweather.
Yes.
May well have used certain expletives on the live stream.
Yeah. And that was when poor Carl Pilgrim got these pack of love arts, and he started eating his sweets, and he got all the group table, and all of a sudden you just heard vacuum to table 13. Vacuum. Oh my God. That was when we were all calling each other a certain C word, because we were all friends.
Oh, I remember this.
And then the dealer's like, that's not appropriate. We stop it. And Tony's looking at me, well, we ain't called it fucking you, have we?
Yeah, but then I think Stu did.
Yeah, I think he did after that.
It's dreadful, absolutely dreadful.
But yeah, like people will say, like, oh, do you enjoy it? And this is always been for me, because like people say, well, have you won much money, or have you played these massive tournaments? And this is why I tend to stay away from like these huge tournaments, because unless I think you've got that banter at the table, it's a very isolating and very like quiet game for me. I love when I've got the banter. I'm checking my cards, but I'm not getting bored, so I'm not making stupid decisions just to do something.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean with it. Well, we are down to 4 players in the roller, and they're on a break, Des. So that can only mean one thing.
Oh shit! Is it that time of the day? Oh, hold on, let me do the thing. There we go. Oh, so remember, guys, it is Turbo Millionaire time. And whoever takes up the challenge tonight has got a big challenge ahead. Carl, the Captain Pilgrim, currently leads with 5 correct in 1 minute and 16 seconds. We didn't do a urine test on him, did we, Lee? Is it too late? It's probably too late now. It's probably too late. It's probably too late. Yeah, so 1 minute and 16 seconds, guys. So basically, yeah, you know, come on.
You need to do 5 out of 5 and not even think about it. Just get on with it.
It's doable, though, Lee. It's doable. I feel it's doable.
No, it is very doable. Yeah.
It's doable.
I wish I would have had a go at this. So I'm like quite a geek, and I adore quizzes. Like the chase is my favourite.
Absolutely love that stuff. And listen, the winner tonight, Laura, gets a couple of entries into next weekend's championship events, and they get a signed Rob Needham book. So an actual book. It's got pages and it's signed.
Words and everything. I mean, a cover. Front.
Yeah, I'm not even joking here. Rob was on the show on Tuesday, and he was absolutely brilliant. A great story. I can't keep saying young lad. It makes me feel really old. But you know, a guy who started to write about stuff that he knows about. So he's a recreational poker player, loves the game, and he's wrote a couple of books already. One of them is a novella, so it's a little bit shorter. It's available for free on his website, and he's wrote the first in a trilogy of books surrounding a character called Steve Ash, and it's all poker orientated. So it's all about sort of, you know, scandal and intrigue within the poker world. I read the first book, Shark Bait, really good. You know, he's had over 500 downloads in the last couple of weeks. So here we go, all the turbos. It's the book selling that's done it. They're just
laughing. Tony's like, how do you enter? And then he's written,
call me.
I'm going to win it. He was on the show last week. How does he not know how to enter this game? You just typed Turbo.
I'll tell you what we should do.
He's got there. Yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you what we'll do. Even if he doesn't, because it's a random draw, right? We don't know who's going to come on. It's a random draw. But even if we don't get Tony in that draw, or indeed if he doesn't win it, we can call Tony afterwards anyway.
Yeah, of course we can.
We don't need an excuse to call Tony.
You, Des. Am I allowed to enter guests from the show that have been entered by proxy in the chat box?
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Right, good.
Yeah.
Right, Laura, yeah. Laura, you're in the mix. Laura, you are in the mix.
Who put me in?
Me.
Joe did.
Let's do it. So we said we're considering this might be the last Turbo Millionaire. This might be the last one. We're not entirely sure, but it might be. It might be.
God.
Yeah.
I've got to know. We have to decide what we're going to do. We've got some options. I've got a new game idea.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does it involve blindfolds?
Oh man.
Shit. I'm out.
Yeah. You still get to type Turbo, but we might do something called Turbo Deal next week.
Turbo Deal. Does it involve drugs?
Not while Shirley's listening. Bloody hell.
Honestly, seriously.
Right down, Des.
Is it what? Tramadol? What's the thing? What's in with Tony? What's in with Tony? What's Tony's
Nothing.
pill
No
of
one's
choice?
ever had that. No one takes Tramadol.
No one's anywhere near
I thought that was a
Tramadol.
headache pill. I mean, what? It isn't?
No.
Oh my
It's
God.
a controlled substance. No, just honestly.
Prescribed Tramadol. I'm not being the dealer, am I?
I thought that was the way you got around Croydon on a Tramadol. No? Maybe.
Dear, oh
I've
dear.
no idea. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm still
No,
sitting here going, I can't believe I was a 15,000th exit. That's amazing.
It's
I'm
quite
really-
mad.
It sounds like a
shit
fix
at
to
the
me,
same
Joe.
time.
It sounds like a fix. Who do you know? Who do you know?
No
one. Absolutely
but seriously, how random has that got to be? Because you had to be so up to last night. I had 14,941. So you had to be the 59th exit from tonight's tournament, and we had 101.52. So it's bang on. That's just the way it is. Crazy stuff.
I think there's a call for help in the chat box at the moment. Tony Trippier, some of you might know him, has wrote Tran, and then he's put an M, and then he's put a doll. Tram M doll? Is that how it's pronounced? Tram M doll. That can't be it. That's not. It doesn't sound.
Look, we've got Dawn as well. There's just something all the way from America.
The land of Trump and glory.
Oh, we missed
Nothing wrong with that. Right then, that's everybody in for
shit!
in?
Hold on, I haven't done anything, Lee. I haven't even got my phone.
That's all right. Don't worry. There's quite a few. Just give me a second.
Okay.
So I can get the random.
I've just got a message.
Well, can you not? Okay.
I can't. No. It's one of these messages you get from somebody you've never heard of, and you've got to decide: do I want to accept this message or not?
Oh, so you don't even know what it is yet.
I just saw the name and I thought, no, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. That's what I thought.
Don't ask about sausage roll.
Sausage roll? Sausage roll. I quite like sausage roll. Do you like sausage roll, Joe?
Can't make a good sausage roll.
I love a sausage roll.
I think
Right.
that,
I'm sure you do.
Are you ready for me to add something to this?
to be
score?
honest, not really, but let's just do it anyway.
Shall I add something?
It
to this
might
score?
work.
Okay.
It might work.
As long as they answer, they're on their way. Here they come.
Don't try this at home, kids. I quite like a sausage and batter. Oh, there we go. Yeah, okay. We're in, Lee. We're in.
Hopefully, we got GMAC on the line.
Hey!
Hello.
Gordon, how are you doing?
Oh gosh, hang on 1 second. I'm going to get on the speaker.
You definitely don't want two of me in your ear, I'm telling you. That's like a really bad film. There we go.
Yeah.
It's gone a bit quieter. It's been a while. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Yourselves?
Yeah, not bad. We were sorry to see you go on the final table.
Trying to short.
Talk us through that hand. Was it a bit of a cooler?
I've not got a lot of bigs. I'm jabbed with King Jack, and then Phil's woken up with his king, and then the big blind's woken up with kings.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that was the one. It was all she wrote. How's lockdown been, Gordon? How are you sort of getting through? Has it impacted stuff or?
Working. I've just been working all the way through.
Good.
So I work from home anyway. So it's not really been too different, apart from not going out to visit clients and stuff like that. But apart from that, everything's been good. Yeah.
Fantastic. Tell me, Gordon, we want to know, did you ever get your Scotland shirt back from that German lady? Oh, he's gone very shy. It's not like Gordon to be shy. That was quite. We've got that on film from like 1988, I think it is.
Now, Des, no pressure here, right?
Oh.
But we've been doing this for a little while now, Des. I don't know how good your memory is, but Gordon's won Turbo already.
Yeah, I know he has. I know he has.
I think possibly it might have even been the first week we did it. Actually, I think.
Well, listen,
back in April.
I just want to manage Gordon's expectations here because I don't think I can read these questions out quickly enough for you to win, right? 1 minute and 16 seconds. I think when you won back in April, we were measuring winning times in like bits of days. It was like it was long. It was minutes. It was 3 minutes and stuff. So
these guys have gone into some sort of training to do this now.
It's almost like
there's
a turbo version of
and all
the game.
Sorts of stuff. Yeah.
It's incredible stuff. Listen, we're going to do this, right? So
the chances of me answering 5 questions right again is like that's the lightning.
To be honest, you've got a cracking ask the audience here though tonight. I mean, honestly, you've got Joe and Laura here. I mean, if they can't,
I tell you, shall we give them an ask the audience?
Yeah.
Shall we do it for a laugh?
Let's do it.
Listen, Gordon.
I'll
I'll leave it up to you. If you want to switch out your 50-50 for an ask the audience, we'll let you do it, right? But obviously, time's going to be a killer here. You're gonna have to, or you could just slow down and just enjoy it. Have a bit of fun with it.
We can't debate this, girls. If it's asked the audience, spit it out.
Yeah.
Spit it out. Spit it out. You heard it here first,
so
guys.
You got that. Okay, Gordon's giving you instructions.
Man, Christ, I've dropped my phone. Right, here we go. Right.
I'll be the first guy that's told him to spit it out.
Oh dear. Honestly, you just can't come on here and say that, right? Not unless we've invited you, and clearly we have. Okay,
I
so
understand what you're saying, GMAC.
right, if I was to ask you what an ibex is, would you know what the answer? We haven't started, but I just want to know what's an ibex.
Is it a beer?
IBEX.
No, it's a goat. Everyone
It's
thought
goat,
it was
isn't
a
it?
It's on Millionaire.
Look at that. They're smart. So
So you saw it on Millionaire.
Ooh. Hey, I've got skills.
we had Alan on a couple of weeks ago, who was that player on Millionaire. He's
No.
actually he's an APAT player.
Yeah,
So he was on the
really?
show
Oh,
2
yeah.
weeks ago. If you haven't watched it back,
Oh, it's fantastic.
He talks all about it. It's brilliant.
We showed the video as well, so it was really good. Okay, Gordon, we're going to do this. So
Okay.
obviously, you've got to go for speed. You can do your lifeline at any point. Right, so question number 1. Right, here we go. Okay, complete the phrase meaning to encourage someone to do wrong. It's aid and a bed, a top, aloof, a bet.
A bet.
Yeah, we like that. Okay. Say the answer if you think you know it before I even start the options. Right, question 2. Which of these is the name for a small, unique hotel with luxury facilities? Boutique hotel, boudoir, boulevard, bouquet.
Boutique.
I like boutique. It's correct. You're 2 for 2, Gordon. Well done.
Mhm.
You're across the dickhead line. We get a little bit of music now. We can't do anything about this. Question 3.
Oh, it's
Which
clutch.
of these famously has a 17-inch waist? Dawn French, Nigella Lawson, Dita Von Tessa, or Pam Ferris?
Ask the audience.
Dita Von Teese.
Wow.
The
Okay.
final answer.
We're going for
That'd
it.
be Dita Montes.
Oh, I
It's the
think-
right answer. Amazing. Right, question 4. Here we go. Which famous sporting event took place in 2012 at the Medina Country Club? America's Cup, the Ryder Cup, the Calcutta Cup, the Melbourne Cup?
The Ryder Cup.
I think so. It's the right answer. Final question. Here it comes. What destroyed half of the city of Rome in 64 AD? Volcano, fire.
Volcano.
He's gone for volcano. Oh, it's a fire.
Oh!
So damn close. So damn close.
Who knew that? Was that Laura? Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, that's
Wow.
wicked.
Wow. The other 2 options were an earthquake or Chelsea supporters. So unfortunately, Gordon.
Oh, I would have loved the Chelsea supporters to have that.
Well, so near yet so far. What was the time like, Lee? Would we have got there?
Shall I? Yeah, he'd have done. It would have. I stopped it when he gave that answer at 1 minute 16. So it would have been,
Right
I'd have
on.
been down to
Right on the nose. We'd have had to do a bit of forensic analysis of the times afterwards, or we could have just given it to you. It would have been one of those 2 things. Well, that can only mean one thing. Carl, the captain, has won this week's Turbo Millionaire, and he's got the APAT entries, the free signed book, the cuddly toy. He's got some sort of caravan device, I'm sure. Amazing stuff. So well done to Carl, but most of all, thank you, G-Mac, for taking
No
part.
worries. Well, guys, thanks a lot, and thanks again for all the stuff during lockdown.
Oh, you're more than welcome, my friend.
Brilliant. Cheers, Gordon. Take care.
There we go, guys. Gordon MacArthur with a
Bye,
sterling
G-Mac.
effort. Just falling short, going for volcanoes over fire. I mean, that's pretty damn tight, isn't it? Volcanoes over fire. Volcanoes lead to fire, right?
You just that last one. You tend to just have a go at it. Don't
Well, he
you?
did. He
How
had a
did
go,
you-
and
How did you know that, Laura?
Because I'm a massive, I love ancient history and stuff, so I watch a lot of stuff to do with ancient Egypt and ancient Rome and stuff like that. I'm a proper geek at heart.
Oh,
Lee,
okay.
Lee, have you ever seen Despicable Me, the TV? the film for kids. You probably haven't.
No, I probably
You probably
I don't
haven't.
think so.
Well, there's a character in there, and it's the evil character, but he's an incredibly large brain. Incredibly large brain. That's how Laura knows.
And the fact that I look like a minion.
Just say, oh, they're the
Spot the
minions.
Bedouin.
Oh, right, so basically Des is saying you look like a minion.
I didn't
Right,
say
okay,
that,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
can tell you, if it's any consolation, I did the image for the look. I'll just flash it up on screen. Where is it? There we go. So I did this image at about 20 to 10. So just before we went on
So
there.
that's early.
There's nothing. Well, there's nothing like a bit of prep, and I like to leave myself that bit of pressure, right? Because it means your blood is absolutely moving in your body by the time Lee calls me at 10 to, right? I know I'm zinging. So I did that picture, and I thought, oh, I wonder if anybody will notice that Tom is in this picture, and he's not either Laura or Joe. So then I thought, okay, I could cut out a minion character. Who's the one with the single eye? And I could just place him into that space. Nobody would notice. And I tried it. Honestly, I spent about 4 minutes trying to get the bloody minion in there. And every time I tried to remove Tom, it sort of removed a bit of Joe's face or it removed a bit of Laura's hair. And it's just, I can't do that. I can't do that.
I bet Tom's spent more than 4 minutes trying to get his minion in as well.
That was... Oh, wow.
Tom Clark, if you're out there, we've got a question for you.
The same weekend that the Traeger bomb was born, Laura.
Yeah, that's when we nicknamed Tom Lube Me.
Oh my God.
Tom,
Burger me, and then
Liquid Me.
drink me, liquid me, and
No,
then
liquid
lube me.
Liquid me was Coventry, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was when I was on the table with Lee. Because
Liquid me.
I was musing
Burger
at the
me.
table. And I sort of looked at him, I went, you know like when you're hungry and you say, feed me? And I said, well, we've not had a valet and I really want to drink. I said, so what's the difference? Is it liquid me? Then we've got liquiding, and it's just now become like classic. It should be entered into the Countdown Dictionary, I think.
Yeah,
Susie
absolutely.
sat in the corner at Countdown going, and liquid me has its origins from two pissed off arseholes in Coventry.
I think it works. I think that works as a term. So listen, how has Tom managed to get into all of these friend groups? You know, how is he this thorn between the two roses? How, you know, what is it about Tom that is sort of mixing with so many people?
He's a legend.
Because frankly, we had him on and we couldn't understand him. We didn't know what he was saying.
That's why we all like him, because we just sit there and go, oh yeah, smile and nod.
We answer what we think Tom's saying. So Tom's probably sat there going, that's not what I said, but we just have a conversation as though of what we think he said.
I'm only joking, Tom. I'm sure they're only joking too. We do love you. I have to say, one of the legends.
That being said, we had a barbecue at our house last summer, and we had the usual suspects: Suzanne and Laura, Tom, and Vince and others. And we spent the whole time asking Laura to translate these made-up words that she kept saying in whatever in this Dudley yammy sort of like. What do you mean? What does that mean? She's like, because everyone says no, we don't. And that was the whole day spent translating Laura.
That was also the day that you walked in and Femi sat on your kitchen floor looking ashamed after what happened to me at 4 a.m.
I'm just going to go quiet here and let them continue, Lee. I think we should do that now.
My view is the way to go with this. If they're happy telling this story, then we'll just go with it. Yeah. So
this is the absolute epitome of Laura being probably the most intelligent person I know, but the least life intelligent, streetwise, any element of common sense ever.
Oh, we've got a few of them.
Go on, Laura, you do it, because this is just incredible. This is the best story ever.
We're all at Joe's for a barbecue, and like you said, we're all there. There was me, there was Joe, there was Jace, there was the kids. Tom was there, Karen Mead was there, Suzanne was there. We had a fantastic day. It was absolutely lovely. We're all playing outside. All the drinks are flowing, as you know. And anyway, all the kids have got like air beds in Joe's spare room. So the boys' beds were up for grabs. So I had the one bed, and I think Karen had the other bed. So anyway, I've got into bed and thought, oh, this is great, and dozed off to sleep. About 4 a.m, I woke up, and when you've been drinking and you wake up and your lip is like stuck to the back of your head, and you're like, I need a drink, I'm going to die. So I looked up, and as I adjusted to the darkness, on the side was a bottle of water, and I thought, oh my God, God has smiled on me. So I get this water, take the lid off, and the foil on the top. I thought, well, that's strange. Like, I've never had a bottle of water with foil on, but I'm doing it's quite posh. It might just be something I've never seen before. So I jab the foil with my finger to make a hole and take a huge swig of this water, expecting to be, really refreshed. The water was not water. It was actually, the kids' bubble solutions. So at 4 a.m, I'm in Joe's bathroom with the tap running, with my tongue underneath like a spaniel, going like a spaniel under the tap at 4 o'clock in the morning. And Joe comes downstairs, and I'm just sat on the kitchen floor the next day with the dogs, and she just looks at me and goes, "What have you done?" I went,
Did you not think the foil was a bit of a giveaway that it weren't just a bottle of water? She said, but you live in a posh village. I thought it was just water.
Expensive water. Oh, that is funny.
So Joe's like, I never thought I'd have to hide bubble solutions from my house guests or warn them not to drink my kids' toys.
I've got quite young kids, and like I have to child-proof my house, and then Laura comes, and I have to Laura-proof my house as well.
Oh, it sounds like it. Oh my word!
That was the best. That was the same day that you tried to you wanted to exhibit your gymnastic prowess and did a cartwheel on the grass and put your hand in a pile of dog shit.
No, yeah. Everyone was laughing and there's no way you can do this. Well, I actually can. So I was like, haha, fuck you. So I executed this like amazing cartwheel, so proud, and landed straight in dog shit. I was like, shit, I'm on foot. I was barefoot as well, and it's like through the toes squelchy.
Oh, sweet.
Dear.
That's where we learned what it meant to go up the ginnel.
Oh god.
Oof.
The next barbecue was the one where I really offended someone by accidentally suggest that he had a romantic relationship with his cat. Where the problem is, it's like when I get a joke or something amuses me, I don't know when to let go. So, whereas most people would say a joke and it's haha, that's great. I'm there like 4 hours later, still on the same joke. And the person who was like the end of this joke is just looking at me thinking, I can't murder someone in someone else's house.
Oh my god.
Oh dear! I tell you what, I need to know: were you burping bubbles after the liquid incident?
Matt, I shit a jacuzzi. It was horrible.
Oh my god.
Oh dear! Oh dear! Yes, I expected something refreshing to hit the back of my throat. She said. Oh dear!
Are we still on about the bubbles? Or?
Oh. I don't know that we can beat that particular story. And listen, talking about
there's plenty more.
Talking about the refreshing liquid, we're heads up, Lee.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, that's.
What happened to everyone? Where did they go?
Yeah, so Phil TC busted in 4th place. He picked up $315. Then we lost Chris Johnson for $490 in 3rd, which means we've got Niels from Sweden against Andrew Wilson. Not much in it chip-wise, and obviously they're playing for about what we're playing for about $350 now. So they're
Nice.
guaranteed 717, and it's 1,067 up top. So yeah, still very much to play for between 1st and 2nd.
Fantastic. Do you know either of these players, Joe?
No, but I have actually been watching it a little bit, and they're just passing the chips around a bit. So Nils was on about 1.7, and now he's down to 1.2. I was just going to say, I have a feeling that this could go on a bit. Oh no, there we go. I think this might be a quite a long heads up.
Do you think so?
How would you? Stories to fill the time.
How are you playing this? And obviously, we saw you play. What was his name?
Oh.
Yeah, that's the one. We saw you playing him.
It's out of my head. Someone will know.
Sunil? No.
No. Pete Wigglesworth will know. But if Pete's in the chat box, what was the name of the guy I played heads up?
I can't remember now. Well-known poker
I'm sure it began with a T. Yeah.
Tanil. Talal Shekarishi. Yeah, that's it. There you go. It just rolls off the tongue. You were just raising everything, and he was raising everything. That was a great heads-up game.
Do you know, I like looking at this table though. This is probably where I would find it hardest, being quite even in stacks, because I find that if I'm really short, then actually you think to yourself, well, you know what, I can raise quite a lot here because I just need to get the chips. I've not got enough chips to sort of wait. And if you're quite chipped up, you can kind of raise a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
But if you're quite even, I don't know. This is the point at which that's why I said I think this might go on a little bit. Because if this was me, I think I would find this a difficult spot to be sort of raising. Yeah. Within evens, because I've not got a very clear lead, and I'm certainly not a clear short stack. So, yeah, maybe that's.
See, I'm sort of the opposite to you, because what I started doing is playing, the spin and goes on Poker Stars.
Oh yeah.
So I ended up like a really, really good heads-up game, which is something that I never had previously. Because heads-up is a very different game to how you play the rest of the tournament.
Oh, wow.
And then, so I started playing a lot of them, and I got really good heads-up. And then after I got really good heads-up, I never made like a final table again to put it.
Your long game was shit. That's why. Oh no.
Just blowing bubbles at the table, calling everyone Dame Bowers.
I tell you, I have to say, guys, I'm here. I'm absolutely boiling. I went to the beach today, but it was like a stone. Oh, I didn't deliberately set out to go to the beach, but I ended up at the beach. But like there was nobody there. There was like nobody on the beach. And
yeah, but you went to a beach where I wouldn't expect there to be anybody.
yeah. We went down to Rye, right? We went down to Rye and had a bit of a walk around the town. There weren't too many people in the town, which, to be honest, that's what I expected. And with my daughters, went down. We had a walk around, and they said, right, let's just go out to the beach and we'll have a walk along the beach. So we didn't go to Canberra Sands, the real beachy, sandy one. We went.
Oh, that reminds me of the In-Betweeners, Canberra Sands.
Did they go to Canberra Sands?
Yeah, that's the Caravan Club.
Oh, I remember that. Is that where that happened?
There's a Pontins there, isn't there? So yeah.
So anyway, we went down to the Stony one and we went onto it, and it's absolutely amazing, right? It's so big, and it isn't the sort of beach that you'd have fun at, but it was lovely just to sit there. And it wasn't that hot, but the wind was blowing. So anyway, I've come home, obviously this evening, and I can feel my temperature rising, and I'm thinking, shit, have I been like burnt in the wind? I hadn't thought about that. I've been absolutely burnt. And at one point I was sitting here sort of hoping I've got COVID-19 instead of a bloody, because, you know, at least I'm not going to get the big red face, right? I've got the big red face, guys.
Oh, no.
So I've just taken the old cardigan off. I was wearing a cardigan because, you know, you get a bit cold and then you go hot and cold. And it's
cancel your Zoom meetings for the next 3 days.
Oh, it's going to be a bit like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that Zoom roulette. In some cases, they turn the video on. In other cases, they don't.
Have you, Laura? So, Laura, doing your stuff with the lectures and stuff, have you been doing a lot of remote learning stuff and doing stuff via Zoom and things?
Loads of it. We use Microsoft Teams.
Okay, yeah.
And there's absolutely loads of it. But obviously, like, what people don't realise about psychology is that a lot of it involves quite a lot of in-depth statistical analyses.
Okay.
So we do a lot of statistics on a special, like, you know, statistics software, and trying to remote teach students how to use this has been horrendous. I mean, I'm so glad I have not been a student during this, because I think it would have just broke me. But to be honest, like, we've had to like change assessments and stuff really, really last minute. We've had so much, it's just been such a challenge, you know, and obviously I only got this lecturing position in January. So I've had like quite the baptism.
Oh wow, you really have then, haven't you? So you've had a couple of months and then this has all hit, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, it's not been as bad as I thought. I hate working from home, because you get up and you sit in one place and then you relax in that one space and you may eat your tea in that one place. And I like getting up, going to work and then leaving work at work, especially with what I do. It can get quite heavy at times. So that's been really, really difficult for me.
Laura, have you had any indication of what will happen for you guys? Obviously, I know everybody seems to be really focused on talking about schools and, like, you know, oh, we want the kids to go back, we don't want the kids to go back. What's going to happen with unis?
As far as we know, at the minute, we're set to return September.
Yeah.
But obviously that can all change, you know.
Yeah.
But there are provisions that said, look, if we are remote teaching from September, then we need to put in the protocols for this. The problem, like, stuff like the Open Uni and stuff, their courses are designed to be online courses. It's very hard to transfer a course that's not designed to be online.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got students as well. Like, obviously with uni, like, it's different to schools. Schools have like an age limit and an age range. With uni, you get people from the age of 18 right through up to, you know, I think one person graduated a couple of years ago with their PhD in their 80s. So you've got a huge array of people to try and help through, and if they're not as technically proficient as some of the others, it's quite a challenge. I mean, I always thought I was really good with technology. It's only lately I'm realising that I'm getting to one of them old people that's like, how do I do this?
Well,
by the way, if you hear any noise at the minute, I'm not killing anything. I'm just like putting my dog to bed. So.
And meanwhile, Lee, we've had a result, right?
We have. That was all over pretty quickly. Ace Queen versus tens, and the tens of Neil's held up, and so he wins the roller. And Andrew Wilson finishes in second place. Very well done to them. Not bad. Just over $1,000 result for, well, at least, I don't know, I think he probably bought in for 55, I think. So, but that's a cracking result from everybody that cashed. Well done to them all.
Absolutely fantastic.
Okay,
well done. Well done, guys. Good result.
Well done, guys.
I've just put squads up, guys, so it's happening there in the background. My daughter got an email from her uni like a month ago, and they said just so everybody is clear, all lectures for the next year are cancelled. So everything will be online. So you have to go back, obviously. She goes back in, I think it's early October. You know, it'll all be like done via Zoom and all of that sort of good stuff. And so I was talking to her about this yesterday, and she said, no, I'm actually, you know, I'm okay with that. I'm quite happy. She said, I'm, you know, I now know I'll be able to do every lecture. Right, I can do every lecture, and you know, she said I might sleep through some of them. I might like be lying down in bed fast asleep, but I'll be taking it in like that. Didn't fill me full of confidence, I have to say. But yeah, last year and all of the lectures are done. Now,
what uni is that?
So she's in Cambridge, and it might be that they're just giving a worst case scenario, right? Yeah. So maybe 6 months in, they find that actually we can do the last term or something. I don't know, but. That's the message that they've all had.
I mean, judging just from like a personal experience, when I went to uni, I just expected, you know, keep your head down, do your work. But if it wasn't for the friends that I made at uni, I could not have got through it. I mean, now me and my friend Kelly, who we both do our PhD together and we both have the teaching contract together, we call each other as first thing on the morning and we stay online video chatting throughout the whole day, just working together. And if it wasn't for that support, I don't think, like, you know, I'd have got through it. And even when we could go to uni, those bonds, those friendships, those hours that, I mean, we spent doing our masters, we were sat in the library and it was like 11 o'clock at night and we'd still be sitting there working on our masters. It's such a shame that this whole batch of students might lose out on that.
Oh, it's true. They're going to lose the bar. They're going to lose all of that stuff. It is true. It is true. But
I have a funny story about a uni bar if you want to hear it.
Yeah, no, of course.
Well, you might know this, that years ago I actually went to uni when I was 18 to do a degree in English.
Okay.
It was the wrong course for me, but you know, I was 18 and I decided to move to halls. Well, anyway, back then Wolverhampton had a student union bar.
Yeah.
And they used to do like fancy dress nights. The one night they did like a tarts and vicars evening. So I dressed up in, like, you know, some shorts and a halter neck, and all these girls turned up in like these corsets and, you know, quite short pants type things. So the next one they did was pajama party. So I thought ahead, right then, you know, I'm going to be prepared for this one.
Going for this one.
I walked in with my I had like I don't know if you could barely describe it as a negligee, put it that way.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Do you have any pictures? Just send us a picture. And we'll put it up on the screen. We'll take a poll on it, maybe.
There is some on my Facebook. So I've got this like tiny lacy negligee thing on with some French knickers, stocking suspenders, heels, you know, the full works.
Oh, I'm too hot. You've got to stop. I'm boiling up here. I mean, my face is flushed.
Well, I borrowed my friend's long black jacket, so I walked into the bar, a proper confident strut, and opened this coat. And I looked around the bar, and every other person was in actual pajamas and one. And they actually got me up on the stage and made me hold this teddy bear for photos. But I did get a free bottle of fizz. I went, oh my God.
That's right.
I was like, you know, and then is it Bridget Jones when she walks into that party dressed as a Playboy?
Yeah.
I was going to say that's your Bridget Jones moment.
Oh no, you've got people looking around to see who was the stag.
My life, it was horrendous. Yeah, they got me on top of a speaker and everything and gave me a teddy bear, but I did win a free bottle of
what goes through your head with these because you've talked about a number of different stories now where you go, is it just that you get it in your head, right? Yeah, that's the thing I need to do, and then you're so focused on just doing that, there's never even a point of you going, right, is this just I'm just gonna check this and make sure I'm on the right line to you just it's Laura in full, right, I'm doing this full on mode, yeah?
Yeah, I tend to do stuff and then go, shit, is that really right?
Never change, Laura. You never change.
I am the king of saying like the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing, and I don't mean to do it. And I have to warn, like when I'm teaching, I do warn my students prior to the lecture that I do this because I remember. Oh my God, I remember in my I remember in a master's lecture, we were talking about accessing sort of illegal pornography. You know, the quite depraved and stuff that you don't actually want to access. And I used to say, well, it's not the type of stuff you'd probably come across. Oh dear.
Not a dry eye in the house.
And the whole class just looked at me, sort of mouth open. I was like, okay, let's move on from that quite quickly.
Oh no.
Gloss
Oh my
over that,
God.
move on, it'll be fine.
Oh,
You what, sorry?
Gloss over it, move on, it'll be fine.
yeah.
Oh my God, I've done it loads. I mean, I used to work for a tarmac company, and we had to go for quite a lot of meetings. And the tarmac industry is predominantly male based. So we were at this meeting with a guy in rugby, and there's me and my manager and a room full of these, tarmac execs. And the idea was they were upset about something to do with the spreadsheet they wanted for their invoices and everything. So I said, oh, I've got another proposal. It's on this memory stick. And I handed over the memory stick, and I looked at this guy straight in the face. I went, do you want me to get it up for you? And the whole room just went, excuse me. But instead of me just laughing along and going, no, that's not what I meant, I followed up with, no, what I meant was, I don't want to do that. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with you. And I just couldn't shut up. So instead of me just thinking, oh, stupid thing to say, Lord, laugh it off and shut up, I tend to carry on.
No, that's good. That's perfect. The world needs that. It needs a lot of that at the moment. Listen, Tony wants to know, how do you feel about being third bestie? You're only his third bestie? Is that what he's saying here?
Yeah, I've never been so insulted in my life.
That's outrageous. That's outrageous.
I feel quite upset.
Who's his other besties? Who's ahead of you in the list?
Oh, Todd's ahead of me, I think.
Oh, I don't know. So what was this scandal over the golf in Vegas?
Oh my God.
I mean, I thought it was a bit embarrassing, but Tony was generally seemed to be upset about it. I was embarrassed for him. It sounded like Todd won it fair and square.
Oh my God. Brian, in his infinite wisdom, had planned a day, as Brian does, of fun events, and one of his events was strip golf. So the premise behind this, I'm not quite 100%, because when it comes to Brian, he tends to complicate the simplest of tasks. But you had to have partners and teams, and you had to have a drink in each bar, and as we went down the bars, you had to drink, and then we moved on to the next one. Everyone had a little a golf tee, and if you shouted 4, the last person to put the tee up lost the tee and had to donate $1 to the pot. But
Jesus.
One of the rules was something about you and your partner both have to have a drink, and you can't have one without the other. Now, this started at 2:00 in the afternoon. We were now about 3 in the morning, and Tony has carried round for these 13 hours this blow-up golf club. And I think we're in the Aria, I can't remember, but we were in one of these hotels in Vegas, and I think Todd had either had a drink without Tony or not had a drink without him. It's one of the two. So Tony starts moaning that Todd's cheated, and we all thought he was joking, but it turns out he was serious. But the best moment of this night was when Tony stormed off and ceremoniously stuffed this blow-up golf club into the bin. Of course, it's blown up. So he's like, with this blow-up golf club and leaves. And that was the night where the video of Todd trying to do a drink.
Boys with their toys. I tell you, Tony's saying in the chat box, he cheated. Right, he cheated. Right, the mofo cheated. I think that's what he means. He cheated.
It was Vegas Gate. But we didn't, after that day, we didn't see Todd for a full 24 hours. He never made it to the room.
Oh, no.
I got back around 5 in the morning. I think Todd and Gaz and that got around about 6:30.
Were you afraid at any point that maybe Tony dragged him into the desert and did a Breaking Bad move on him or something? Buried him under a gorse bush or something?
And dragged him out calling him bitch. That was still, I think, one of the best weeks of my life with those guys. I mean, it was absolutely unreal.
Yeah.
We went to bed around the one night. We went to bed at 11 o'clock at night to get up at 2 in the morning just to go on the piss for the England game. You know, it could only happen in Vegas.
I want to go.
You've got to love it.
I want to go to Vegas with the BCPC, Lee. We've got to organise it. We've got to take them over. That's what we'll do. We'll take them over. They're weak at the moment. They haven't got a pub, right? We'll take them over.
Now's the time.
Now's the time.
Go and put the offer in. You need to negotiate with Brian. Well, good luck if you're going to negotiate.
Listen, I've got in my back room here, I've got this enormous blow-up golf club. It's huge, right? It's absolutely huge. That might seal the deal. That's what I reckon.
It might well do. It might well do. Well, we're in the money in squads now. We're down to quickly down to 19 actually. So I better give the guys just an update of where we're at.
Ask Ayresy wants to know.
Well, as I say, I saw Ayresy wanted to know, asking for a friend. He said, well, his friend that he's asking for is Gary Metcalf from the Hair Mob, who's still in. So basically, Ilfracombe Poker Squad are currently top of the table. They have been for the past few days, actually. They've got one player left in tonight, and that is Matt Rogers, who has just gone chip leader in this tournament.
Okay.
With 18 players remaining. ABCD, which is Joe's team, they're all locked up second place at the moment. They're all done, but there's a few chasing them, and it's quite close. So I don't know whether they're going to hold on to a top 3 spot. Lockdown Crew, they're all done. They're in third at the moment. In fourth at the moment are the Purple Ackies. And they've still got...
I see Scouse is playing.
Scouse still playing. But Dan Houston's not playing tonight. And that could cost them. We will wait and see. Fifth place at the moment is Team Return. They've got one player left, but he's not playing tonight, I don't think. Craig Houghton, no, he's not playing. So then it's the Hetton Mob with Gary Metcalf. Gary's currently 11th in chips. They're still in with a shout of making the top 3 for sure. And King Cole and his Fiddlers 3 is Simon and Derek. I'm not sure whether either of them are playing tonight. I don't think they are. No, so they're all going to be done. So it looks like, there's a few chasing Ilfracombe. So we'll see how it plays. Now, in the MVP, the top guys have all bust quite early tonight. But that doesn't mean that they can't be overtaken, because I was going to say Asa might be able to, but I've seen he's just bust in 17th place. He was in with a shout, but he's not going to be able to do that now. Stu Pillinger is another one who's not playing tonight. So there are one or two that can still sneak ahead. Is Igor still in? Yeah, Igor's still in, so he can actually jump top. But currently, it's Charlie Cairns at the top at the moment of the MVP. So he's holding on to top spot. I'm waiting to see how everybody else gets on.
Well, Charlie would be a popular winner. Let's see if he can sort of avoid that minefield as the evening goes on. So Matt Rogers getting a lot of love, Lee. A lot of love in the chat box. Simon Cracknell is there.
Ilfracombe Massive.
Yeah, Andrew Watts. So the Massive is in, and they are shouting on Matt. So I'm guessing...
Everything sounds better with a Massive, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Particularly if it's been said by somebody from the west of Ireland, it just sounds amazing. Have Ilfracombe had any, have they placed in previous weeks, Lee, or is this their big, push?
I think this is their big push.
Okay.
I don't think they have actually placed before. Obviously, Tony Ross has had a fair bit of success. Yanni's had a cracking squad series. But I don't think they've actually made the top 3. I might be wrong. They might have finished it in the top 3 at one point. They certainly haven't won it. But this is the one. Can they hold on? Can Matt see it out? Matt is actually their lowest scorer of the week so far. So already he is going to add significant points, because they are what?
That's good, right?
He's already 15th, so he's already going to be adding 30 odd points.
Bonus points.
And the more exits you get now, it's looking good for them. It is looking very good for them.
Yeah. So Kev Monger is in the chat box as well. He's calling for Igor, fellow teammate, being unable to play this week, unfortunately. So Igor's getting a lot of love there as well. I think this could be a close finish, Lee.
Yeah, it could well be. APAT on the backer. Just trying to work out I think probably Matt's already locked up enough points. So APAT on the back probably can't do it now, because Chris Hyam's not playing tonight either. So that would have. There's a few tonight that have missed out on potentially getting their teams in the top 3 for whatever reason, not being available to play on a Sunday night.
What can you say? The beach called.
That's what it is, isn't it?
Everyone's suffering from windburn.
Oh, I'll tell you what, you have no idea, Joe. I mean, it's not the first time I've said it, but I'm sat here obviously naked at the moment, just red. I look like a lobster. Well, I say naked. I mean, obviously I'm wearing trousers and a top. But boy, my arms are singing. They are singing.
So the arms and the face are out.
Oh, sweet Jesus. I'm just getting hotter and hotter. I'm thinking of taking my...
Come on. He's a ginger-haired Irishman.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. I'm thinking of taking my headphones off, because I can feel my ears are just burning inside my headphones. It's going to be really awkward then, because I'm going to have to talk to you while not hearing what you're saying back to me.
he messaged me earlier on. He said, I'm in blooming Rye. So my first thought was, so I had a couple of options.
And now I'm blooming.
I thought he's either gone to the beach, or I just imagine him running through wheat fields. You know, and I couldn't decide which one it was.
That sounds really good. That sounds good. I wish I did that. I could deal with, like, you know, whip marks on my ankles. I could deal with that, I think. Now I'm just red. So anyway, whips, Laura. Let's not go there.
I knew me and Laura would always be good friends when the very first time I met her was at Leeds at APAT in 2014. And I think I alluded to this earlier, but I have pulled out the photo. And I remember going out to the smoking area and meeting this. Sorry, I'm just watching the table and the squads as well. That was horrendous.
Yeah, it's a massive hand. Ace King, Ace
Jack,
and nines.
God. Scout scoops with nines.
Scoops the lot of nines. Oh, horrible.
Bogging. Yeah, I remember going outside and meeting this woman called Laura, and we kind of got chatting, and within not 30 seconds, she was like, come on, let's get a photo together. Come on, let's have a selfie. I was like, all right, let's have a photo. I said, we'd all had a few drinks. And as we take a selfie, she proceeds to grab my breasts and went, this will look better in the picture. You've got great boobs. And takes a selfie. I've known this. I literally met her not 2 minutes prior. And I sent her the photo tonight, and I was like, do you remember this? And she was like, no. I was like, well, I kind of do, but this sealed our friendship some 6 years ago, and that was it. So,
I remember dear. I just remember someone shouting across the room. I looked up, and it was Joe, and I didn't know that. I thought, who the bloody hell was that? And then I found out that these two women had sold their hotel room for drink money.
I didn't sell it. Karen sold it.
Yeah, and that was the thing. It was like, look at that bird that sold the hotel room. I was talking to her.
Karen sold a hotel room?
She sold our hotel room. Oh, my God, it was the funniest weekend ever.
Listen, Lee, Karen will do anything for 20 quid. I'm telling you now, and I know that because we've done some deals in the past, Karen.
Was that just a view? Was that just a view of just we're not going to need it, so we might just as well sell it and carry on drinking? Was that pretty?
Well, I don't even know what it was, because we were obviously staying Saturday because we've been drinking since. I mean, I've got to be honest. That was the same APAT that on the Saturday we turned up at the casino at midday when it opened, and we were almost refused entry for being too drunk at midday.
My God.
There's photos. We were. I don't know if for anyone that's not been to Leeds, the casino is kind of attached to a Premier Inn. They're like right next door to each other. We stayed in that Premier Inn next door, and there's like a long route round. We went there. Do you know, we don't need to walk round. We'll just hop over the fence. And trying to hop over the fence, I kind of fell over the fence. There's a picture of me. I had a skirt on. There's a picture of me, my arse hanging out at like midday, absolutely smashed. And then as we walk into the casino, me and Karen fell in a bush, and Tom tried to help us out, and we thought, nah, we're not having this. We pulled him in as well. So there's all these photos of the three of us just laying in a bush at midday, like.
Fantastic.
Not adulting to the best of our ability. And yeah, and that was kind of how it went. And by about 7 o'clock that evening, I think Karen had busted and I was still in the poker. And I remember for whatever reason, she thought it'd been funny to take Tom's wallet off him or out of his pocket or something. And he just realised, and 1 minute they're running around the casino chasing each other. Next minute she comes over and she gives me some cash, and I said, what's this cash for? She went, I've just sold our hotel room to Ken McBride and his son. I was like, what? She said, have you got the key? I need to go and move our stuff. And I was like, what do you mean you need to go and move our stuff? I said, we can't, it's Saturday and we've had a lot to drink. We only sold our hotel room. Oh, well, we'll just bunk in with Tom and Jamesy. It'll be fine. And I'm like, so you've done what? Yeah, she sold our hotel room to Ken and Gary McBride. And, yeah, got some cash for that because they'd gone up. Didn't think they'd make it through, and they needed somewhere to stay. And I think there was like 5 of us ended up in Tom and James's room that night. It was just ridiculous.
Oh,
but,
dear,
that's how I knew she would always be my friend.
And that's how we knew me and Laura would always be great friends.
Oh, what a story. What a story. Lee, have you ever felt like you've been to 14 years of APAT events but never actually arrived at any one?
Yeah. Yeah.
You've never actually been there, you know? Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I do think that at times you hear some of the stories afterwards of what goes on. And
it's this parallel world.
We tend to do it. Yeah, we're first into the casino, and kind of we're not always last out of the casino, but we're always fairly last out of the poker room anyway. And then you kind of just you just want to head back to the hotel room and just get some sleep, and then and then you hear the stories of what's then gone on whilst you've just been oblivious to most of it. It's what makes the weekends, that's for sure.
I'll tell you what, Lee, if I'd known over the years that you could sell your hotel room for a profit,
to the McBride,
profit, that would be amazing. Just think of how much extra money we could have made.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. We've got a bit of potential story brewing here, maybe. I'm just working through the numbers, and so Matt Rogers from Ilfracombe's currently chip leader.
Yeah.
But Scouse is hunting him down here for the Purple Ackies, and if Scouse could win this and get Matt knocked out in like 3rd place or lower, then the Purple Ackies could take this on the night.
You're joking me.
And Scouse is currently 4th in chips. So we've got a potential bit of a story brewing.
You know Scouse is capable of winning it, right? You know
but
that.
Matt's a very good player as well, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But we're down to 9, so we're playing hand for hand for the final table now. So
it'll be interesting to see if Scouse targets him at the final table. Should they both get onto it? And it looks likely at the moment. We shall see, but it could be an interesting
with a decent stack. So we'll see how it plays out.
So listen, Carl's writing in the chat box. I met Laura. If I had sad music, I'd put it on, but I don't think I've got sad music. I met Laura for the first time in Luton at the hotel reception. She walked up to me and whispered in my ear, hold on, I'm in room 134. I want you to come up and run me a bubble spa. Well, I very nearly did, but I thought no one calls me stupid and gets away with it. Yeah, I couldn't tell that whole story. I couldn't tell it on air. Oh, Scouse
Carl's going. Yeah, it's for dad jokes on a Sunday night.
Have we lost Scouse? He's just blaming me for a top bock. He'll be fine. I don't believe in box.
Not yet. No,
I do not believe in box. I have to say.
Yeah, that's you're a bit previous. Although he's in a hand here, he's raised it up, and Gary Young has re-raised it from the big blind.
Okay, let's get it up on screen.
Scouse has gone all in. Gary,
it's Ace King against Aces.
He's
Diamonds!
Diamonds!
Oh! It's a whole thing! It's a thing! Oh no, he didn't get the queen! Holy gee!
Ace King busts aces. Wow.
Wow, that's the sort of bock that I'm talking about, guys.
That's horrendous.
What a great hand.
Oh, wow. And Scouse goes chip leader. We are going to be down to our final table once this hand plays out. And we've got a bit of a story then.
That is a horrendous beat for Gary Young. I mean, what sort of favourite is he?
Yeah, that's horrible.
And we're going to lose Brendan.
We're going to lose Brendan as well. Brendan 7's into Colin McCarthy's Kings, and they're doing this crazy thing where they play another hand for some reason, even though we're down. So we will soon get a final table up. Yeah, we will get a final table up any second now.
So Colin's been on a good run as well, Lee. Right? We've seen him have some great results over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's nice to see him back playing regular APAT. It's really good.
I remember back in the. Back in, what was it, about 2012, 2013, where we used to do the regional games on a Sunday night for APAT?
Yeah.
Where I took over from Warren as captain of East of England, and remember I had Colin on my team then, and didn't see him for years and years. So having seen him the last few weeks is really cool. And Ralph Oscar as well, someone else that's sort of popped up
that's another name.
From the good old days, which has been it's been really nice to see people coming out that we haven't seen online for a very long time.
Absolutely. And the real names and the lack of hoods and stuff, I think really just helps people to come back in and quickly get into the zone. Because you just know,
especially in stuff like this.
Know who you're sat with. How do you feel about that, Laura? Does it make a difference to you playing online if you know who you're sat with?
Oh, massively, especially for a game, something like an APAT game.
Yeah, a bit of fun, right?
It's so nice to know that the people are there where you go, oh my God, it's Tony, it's Carl, it's Joe, it's Jace.
Yeah.
It's so much better because then you can make comments in the chat box and you can fit. To me, it's relaxing. I hate nothing more than, I mentioned a little bit about this earlier. I hate nothing more when I'm playing poker. And I think it was Coventry, this one table, they were like the fucking Illuminati. There was hoods up. There was sunglasses on. They were like, you couldn't identify these people. I said, I bet you all these lads have told their missus they're at work and I don't want to be seen. To me, that's just, it's not sort of like the spirit of the game for me.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know,
Completely,
I don't want to.
yeah.
If I'm going to play a game, you play a game with other people. That's the point. Is there's other people playing. I don't want to play against something that's called raise, fold. And I think online poker can be a lot like that. You sort of removed from that
Yeah.
that like, player environment, and I really value that. That's why I love the BCPC, and that's why I love APAT so much. Is because you just. I mean, the amount of people that I've stayed friends with and I've got on Facebook, and I've probably only met them once in real life.
Yeah.
But we have like some of the best friendships that I'd value forever. Like people like Joe, obviously I'd never met before. We met at poker in a smoking area, and me feeling a boob.
Yeah.
And
It's just that one guy in Cardiff, Laura. You scare the shit out of him. He's still running. If you look out there into the night, you'll see the red lights of his car just still driving on. Was that Cardiff? The guy in the smoking
KFC,
place?
yeah.
KFC.
Yeah.
That's it. KFC Fred.
That's it.
Yeah, but like people always say to me, "Oh, who are your best friends?" And I was like, "Well, my best friends live all over the country because my best friends are people like Joe and Jay. So I've stayed at the house. My other best friends are Todd and Tony and Brian, and people like Jack Hipkiss as well, and Chris Baker, who doesn't play much poker now. But these guys are the people that have been there for me, and who I would truly value over other people that I see daily. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's nice
and
to
that,
hear.
to me, that means a lot to me, is the fact that you can walk into a poker room and you will see people you haven't saw in like 2 or 3 years, and it's like you only saw them yesterday.
Yeah, it's amazing that you feel that positively about Jo, particularly as she tried to poison you that one time.
I know. She
It was a setup.
I mean,
Absolutely.
It was straight out of the Carry On sketch, that, honestly.
That was the best thing ever. I was like, Laura, you okay? What are we doing?
I was like, didn't you hear me? I was like a spaniel under their bathroom tap at 4 a.m.
you know,
Do you know, it's funny because like Laura says that as well, and me and Jason were talking just the other day about our wedding, and we got married in 2018, and when you look through, we were looking through some old wedding photos and stuff, and actually there are so many people that we know from APAT who were guests at the wedding, or even like for Vince and Tom, they were a part of the wedding, and you know, it comes back, and almost it's funny because the majority of people you've had on this show over the last 10, 12, 14, 16, whatever it is, weeks now, you know, everybody's given a little mention to the whole APAT family ethos and what have you, and it's a real thing. You know, it really is a genuine and very, very powerful thing, I think, and you know that has to come back to you guys and to what you do and your offering to bring people together to do that, because there are so many people that I would never have had the opportunity to meet or to get to know without that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that as well, and especially from someone who, you know, I've never professed to be, oh, I'm a great poker player and I know this and I know that.
No, you're not.
That's not me, you know. I know the hands that win, but that's probably about it, you know. So for me to walk into something like that that's held in a casino, and there's very much of a sort of, oh, you shouldn't be in this hand, or maybe you should have called with this, or you've got to bet this, and this is how you do pot odds and stuff. So to walk in somewhere and immediately felt welcomed by everyone there, and with me saying, you know, I don't play much, and like, oh, don't worry about it, it's fine. That meant so much to me.
That was always important to us, that players could, you know, feel like they were amongst friends. And, and you know, if you look at myself, Lee, Matt, Tom, you know, TK, Ticey, you know, all of the guys who've been involved with APAT, you know, whether, you know, running the community piece or doing the events or whatever, everybody's friendly, right? We're exactly the same as you guys. You know, we all love our poker, and, you know, promoting a friendly game is very much what we wanted to do. So that's worked out brilliantly. Absolutely brilliantly, I have to say.
It is. It's really nice because you see, like, you know, you watch the EPT and stuff on telly, and you see all these big tournaments, and you see, you know, there's the serious, there's a little bit of chatter. So to bring that into like the sort of same game into an environment where everyone feels so comfortable and it's just about the laugh and no one takes anything too seriously, and you know, for people who are newbies, they're like, it's fine if, you know, if you make a mistake, we're not going to think any less of you.
Yeah,
we've all been there. It's really, really nice.
Yeah.
But again, I think as well, like, you've had people from APAT that have gone on to do really big things as well, but come back and still play the APAT just because it's APAT, not because they want to play a 70, £80 comp, you know, on a Saturday afternoon and see if they make it through to Sunday or whatever else. it is purely because it's APAT and because of the people and the environment that you're playing in. It's not because of the poker per se, or the game, or the format, or the structure, or anything else. It's because it's an APAT game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I always say to people, like, the best times, if someone's like, oh, what's the best time of your life or the best experiences you've had, they all link back to either the BCPC or APATs, or every single one. When I've remembered like laughing where my stomach hurts and I'm crying, it's always a BCPC and APAT event.
Oh, that's funny. So if we take over the BCPC, Lee, if we can take it over finally, we'll own all of Laura's best experiences ever.
I think you'd have to prize it from Brian's dying hand.
No, we wouldn't want to do that, I have to say.
I think we've got to give a mention to Brian as well. He's one of the greatest people I know. You know what I mean? He's, the way he organises things is beyond comprehension. I don't know how he does it. I think he's superhuman. But again, like things like,
apart from his online quizzes, though, Laura. Let's come on. Let's
that's tough. But it's, and like obviously saying on about like you know, we all play games and the family and the APAT and BCPC family. It's, we've met these people families as well. So Brian, obviously I know his wife Kaz. I know a lot of my, you know, other players' partners. I've met their kids, and you really are sort of embedded in like a really nice family society. And like Joe said, we're all at the wedding. We've got partners, we've got kids, and we've got everyone else. And we meet Joe's family. I've met like a mum and a dad, and it, you know, it's really lovely. And
I think when we go back to BCPC as well, you know, I think for a group that started off as a group of people that played in a league,
in the back,
I don't know that exclusively is the right way, but they played their little league. You know, we've come across a lot of groups and stuff from playing APAT, and a lot of splinter groups and stuff like that. But I think honestly, the most welcoming group has had to have always been BCPC. And you know, me and Jason and some of the other guys, Tom and a lot of the Blue Blood guys and stuff, have all been to the New Talbot when there's been a BCPC night on, and we've had a bite to eat and stuff, and then gone through to see, you know, what the crack was with the poker and stuff like that. And I can honestly say it is the most welcome I've felt for a group that plays, you know, weekly and monthly and stuff together.
Great bunch of people.
They've been brilliant, absolutely fantastic.
I remember when we were in Dublin back in the early years. It was like 2007. I think it was definitely the one that Brian won. So it was either 2007 or 2008, and it was the year, unfortunately, a short time before that I think it was his father-in-law had just died. He dedicated the win to his father-in-law, and you know, Brian has so much heart, right? You know, you could just, you know, you could just feel that it was so important to him to be able to win this thing, to create this memory that he could attach to his father-in-law, which I think was a lovely thing. And that's you know, that's the one thing about Brian. He wears his heart in his sleeve, and we have had such a lot of laughs with him over the years. You know, we've always, I mean, you did some videos, Lee, in like season 2 or season 3 about the BCPC are coming to take over APAT and stuff. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. We absolutely loved it. So, you know, some people might have thought, oh, BCPC are trying to steal APAT players, or APAT are trying to steal BCPC players. Nothing like that. You know, we were just so, you know, happy and healthy, the relationship.
Yeah. I mean, like we've mentioned tonight, I have been in some seriously drunken states at APAT and BCPC games, but I have never once felt like, you know, I'm worried. Can I get back to the hotel?
Yeah.
I can't drink too much because this might happen, and I know that I've got the guys around me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's really nice to feel. Is, you know, you're always sort of looked after, even if it might be from afar. I always call Brian like my second dad. And Tony as well, who carried me back to the hotel, and even, you know, Jack, who's like, I think Jack's about 10 years younger than me. Even he does with their, like, you know, to keep an eye out and that. And it really is lovely, and they're the best group of people that I've ever met.
Good bunch of guys.
So we've got a couple of stories here, guys, with the squads. We're on the final table. There's 7 left. So Colin and Ellen, so Nelly. They can both win MVP if they win this.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay, so that's what they're both
playing
for. Scouse, so Steve Bailiff, needs to score about 70 more points than Matt does. So Matt Rogers. So basically that means Scouse needs to win this and Matt needs to finish third as a rough
So
example.
about 2 positions. If Scouse came second and Matt finished fourth, would that do it?
No, it wouldn't.
Okay.
Because obviously the points get bigger as the higher up you go. So if Scouse finished second, Matt would need to be down somewhere like 7th. So reality of it is it's going to have to be Scouse is
for the win.
Win it and knock Matt out before the final 3. So we've got a couple of stories here on the go. So it's still up for grabs.
Wow. Okay.
So what it does mean, Joe, is I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be. I think you're going to be in for 3rd place this week. I think.
Oh, it's a fix. It's a fix. It's more added value for our guest.
I mean,
I'll tell you, if I'm Laura, I'm feeling really pissed off.
Bitter, but we kind of hope for at least 2nd. But I think Scouse is 9's in that spot where he's shipped up. I think
I mean, Scouse. You're going to be behind Ilfracombe for sure, and Scouse potentially you could, if Scouse doesn't mess it up here and doesn't get in the top 3, then probably,
Yeah.
So it's whether you're anti-railing Scouse here or not.
Scouse wins it.
I tell you what, we'll do a deal with Scouse that involves Laura, KFC, and him throwing away this now and busting out in the next bust.
I'll tell you what, guys.
To be honest, I don't even want Scouse to win this. I want Nelly to win this.
I'll tell you what, guys.
Do you know what? I so want Nelly to win MVP. I really do.
In the last couple of minutes, it's like Trump in 26. Oh, here we go.
Ace 9. Ace 10 on the
Yes, boom. Come on, Nelly.
Double up for Nelly.
Wow. It's like Trump.
We're on our way.
It's like Trump in 2016. There's been a huge swell of support for Nelly. It's just come in. Michelle is in the chat box. Go, Mum. John Murray, Nelly to win. Joe, of course. So.
Michelle's mum.
Yeah, it's Michelle's mum.
Yeah. That's Michelle's mum.
We was at Dusk Till Dawn playing an APAT and I was absolutely frozen and she just come over and put a lovely fleece on me. And there's a photo of it. There's a photo. I've got this fleece on, and I'm in a hand. But I never really gave much thought to what was underneath the fleece. So on this hand, all you can see for this picture is me and this fleece with a boob hanging out. Oh my God! That was the night I got exceptionally drunk and decided to start a conversation with Rob Young. And I
don't do it. Don't say it.
I can't remember what I said, and I've never been back since.
Do you notice that every time Laura says something, it's like, oh yeah, there was this night when I was really drunk. I was exceptionally drunk. Oh, that was that time when I was really, really drunk.
All of the stories start with, there was this one time, right? I was pissed.
At band camp.
Scouse has called you all in here with King Jack. He's up against A6, and A6 is going to hold. So it's a double up for.
Who's that for, Lee?
Sorry?
Ben.
No, yeah.
Yeah, that keeps up.
Yeah. I think if you look carefully, it's Bandcamp.
You guys, you have no idea how bad I feel that actually some of the names, because of the language on here, I can't type in properly or even try and pronounce, and I wouldn't even know where to start with that one.
With Bandcamp?
I really wouldn't. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Danette's in.
Matt's
something
on
to work.
King, and it looks like it's.
There we go.
So Matt's going to win that one, which means we're going to be down to 6, which is moving Nelly one closer to MVP.
Come on, Nelly.
Go on, love.
Yeah. So to be fair, Igor Azanimov, he's very good actually. He will sometimes come in and tell me what the translation is for some of the Russian and Ukrainian names because. I wouldn't even know where to start with that.
Do you know what? He has been so good with table banter and stuff as well.
He's
really
such a nice guy.
Oh my God, what a lovely guy. He's been brilliant this week.
See, that's the thing. There's always a time when players go, oh, these new people, they don't know APAT, they don't. But actually, you only ever get to know APAT by playing it. And you've got to be sort of open to the point to see some new people coming in. And we have had some top players over the last few weeks that have been just fantastic. They've joined the community and, they're from the Ukraine, they're from wherever. And they've been absolutely brilliant because they've sort of learned what we're about. And that's nice to see. Gotcha. Keeps the whole thing turning.
You got to remember, it was all our first APAT once.
Yeah.
That's going back to what I said, like about how welcome I felt. I love that we've got people from all walks of life. Like, it's such it's strange, you know, like if you say like, who are your friends? You can tend to identify certain people's friend groups and what their similar interests are. But the APAT is so diverse, yet we're all such good friends. That's what makes it sort of special, is that everyone is so different. You know, they've got people from different ages, different nationalities, different backgrounds. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I mean, my first APAT was Luton. I was absolutely smashed. I asked for a selfie with Des, and I can't repeat where he grabbed me, but it was.
Did you touch his food?
Did I grab you around the back, Lee?
That's what she said. That's probably what I said today in bed, was that? He gave me a chocolate orange.
Any chocolate oranges about?
Oh my God, I can't say too much about that in case that's personal.
Oh dear.
Don't get yourself into trouble. Yeah, just don't get yourself into trouble.
So meanwhile, Nellie's up to 1.3 million in chips. And Carl is having his little say. He said, you know, I have the fondest memories when Nellie and Mitch have told me legendary stories of the lovely Harry. So I'm assuming Harry is Mitch's dad. And a big love heart there. So, yeah, there we go. Memories.
I know what I forgot to mention, actually, while we were on the subject of Vegas and stories.
Oh, yes, here we go.
We were sat at the pool. There was me, Todd, Tony, and Chris Baker. And we just sat at the pool having a drink, you know. And we decided to put some sun cream on. So, of course, we've all got our sun cream out. And we just, you know, give us a quick rub with the cream. In synchronicity, we all looked at Tony. We've never seen a man apply sun cream so methodically in your life. He was there about 10 minutes on each ear. There was not a millimetre of skin this man did not cover with this sun cream. I've never ever seen anything like it in my life. Like, but we all just sort of stared at him, and it took him about 30 minutes to fully apply the sun cream.
Oh, sorry.
I've never seen anything like
it. He's a man that, you know, takes his personal grooming very seriously, isn't he? You know.
Did he? Did you see the brand of sun cream he was using? Was it called Bronze Stud or anything? Something like that, maybe?
Yeah, I think it had a picture of his face on it.
What, his body?
Tony the Bronze Sunscreen. Tony the Bronze Sunscreen, yes, yeah.
Oh. And, you know, if you need a higher factor, you go for Tony the Golden Stud, right? He's got a whole range. He's got a whole range out there. Who knew?
So Ironside said it was never my first APAT ever. I've whitewashed that from my memory. So
I'm sure Ironside's first APAT was at the Broadway in Birmingham. Oh, as we see action, the Hearts are going to get there. Bandcamp.
Wow.
Was already well ahead with the 8.
Yeah.
So
it's huge.
So
this is beginning to narrow down quietly, Lee. Where's our stories now?
Well, the stories are still the same.
They're all still alive, right? Yeah.
They're all still live. So Colin and Nellie need to win this for MVP, and Scouse needs to somehow wrestle the chip lead from Matt and get him bust before third.
Lee, with Scouse being obviously guaranteed 5th now, does that put us definitely down to at least 3rd, or?
Oh, you're asking a very good question, Joe. Really,
not
really.
to put you on the spot or anything.
An amazing question. Yes, it would. Yes.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, he was. They were only 60. They were 60 points behind.
It was all very close, wasn't it?
So it was. Yeah, So pretty much you're going to be locked in, I think, now for 3rd place.
Cool.
I'd even go as far as saying, even if you weren't, I would pay you all $11 from my own personal account.
Oh, I like that. The generosity of the man. It's insane.
But we're good. So I think you're going to be in 3rd place, which is another great thing. You guys have been so consistent. You know, we're 12 weeks in, and probably, I'd imagine you guys are probably the top team now, I would imagine, over the 12 weeks. Got to
do we still hold the record for the top score? When the week that we won it was like,
yeah, I think you.
What about the EMS, right?
I think Eat My Stack got close, but I think I think Vince said you still outscored them just about.
I think we did just. I think it was very close, but I think we just had them.
I think I'm going to do a little Hall of Fame for the 12 weeks so far, and of the squad.
Yeah, if you want to do that this week before we really, before we really piss it, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thanks. For anyone gets a chance to overtake us, we'd appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah, that's no problem. Here we go.
Ooh.
Eagles in the chat. This is what we want. So Eddie B.
Oh wow.
Would have Eddie B even got close to guessing that?
Vladimir.
No,
wow. No way.
Never
No way.
in a million. Thank you
impressive.
ever so much, Igor. Much appreciated.
Thank you,
was
Igor.
brilliant.
Vladimir.
Keep
How are we
joining in
pronouncing
our
his surname there?
banter.
Boy?
Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Boy.
Oh, Tom says Eat My Stack beat your score. Apparently.
Right, well,
So-
Laura, if you fancy playing squads next week, Tom's not playing for us, so let me know.
Oh, Tom's been dumped.
You heard it
I'll
here
just be
first.
second choice then.
He's just removed your possible entry from the Hall of Fame. Just like that, it's just gone.
Well done,
Unbelievable.
Tom. That's
Nobody
it. Well,
remembers
keep
second.
the details in.
Just think of yourself.
I was so close.
Oh, well,
Look.
Vince is confirming it as well. Seriously, Laura, get in there and join that team. Honestly, yeah.
Oh, Ironside is saying he wanted to wipe the first event from his memory, and he's just sort of, yeah, I remember this now. It was at the Broadway. He said, when you guys all left me in the underpass between the hotel and the casino. Shit! We left Ironside in the underpass! Is anybody
Is he
close to
still
the
there?
Broadway? He could still be there. I'm
See
sorry
if
about
he's
that,
got a-
Ironside.
see
I
if
hope
he's
you...
got our bet- see if he's got
To be
our
fair,
bet in the
Laura's
media board
closest.
as well, yeah?
Laura, get in the car and get down to Broadway.
Ironside,
quick.
we're going to send Laura around, okay? Just
Joe, do you remember that game at Broadway? We went to Broadway.
Oh
and you
my
had them
God,
fucking,
yes.
Glasses and that visor and
That
all
Elton John, the Elton John sunglasses that I'd bought
Yeah.
because oh my God, when we'd been at Reflex the night before.
Yeah, and I put them on for my entire heads up game, like trying to
Yeah.
be serious and didn't even acknowledge that I got these
Oh
fucking
my God.
3 foot wide glasses on, and the poor bloke was just sitting opposite me trying to play poker.
It was like that Friday night was like every time we went to the bar for a round, we bought, like 6 drinks and an item of shit, which included, flower garlands and giant glasses and
and this bloke looked at me and he was like, oh, nice glasses, thinking like I was obviously joking, which I was, but I just looked at him and went, I don't like to show any tells.
And then did you sing him Rocket Man?
I wish I had done. I was looking at you like what was Rocket Man.
Oh, it's fantastic.
oh, it's quality that.
It is
That's
fantastic.
brilliant.
So Michelle is remembering when you were all drunk. I think we're talking about the Broadway here.
I think
Ironside,
we're talking about
Imagining,
most
it would
APATs.
well-
the
would
devil,
well be.
the devil drink. He was forgot.
I'm just thinking, it all used to happen in Luton, didn't it? Luton's
Oh.
where John Murray had his incident walking back to
Altercation.
the hotel. Yeah.
It did, yeah. Do you know that's why I think they introduced the fruit salad buffet just to try and soak up some of that
Oh,
alcohol.
Nelly's all in.
Oh, here we go.
Go on, Ellie.
Oh, come on, Nelly.
Where's all-
Three's against Ace Queen.
Hold.
Oh, this is not
Hold.
somebody to miss.
Wow.
I think
Oh.
Come on,
everyone's
Ellie.
had like a nightmare in Luton at one time. I mean, I remember it was another trip to Luton. I mean, that place holds so many memories for me. But we got in a taxi back to our hotel, and for some reason, the taxi guy took us to some random small town / village, and we're like, mate, this is not where we want to go. And he went, well, you've got to get out here. We've not got to get out here. This is not where we're going. And we argued with this bloke and went, well, we're not paying you. And he kicked us out.
Oh my God.
And we were stood in the middle of this town thinking, what the fuck do we do now? And I knocked on this door of a closed takeaway and I was like, excuse me, I really need a wee. Can I use your toilet? And they went, no, we're closed. I went, I understand that. Can I use the toilet? And my mate, Chris was me. He was like, I'll pay you a tenner, just let her use the toilet.
Wow.
It was
Bloody
some
hell.
It was like some ever horror film. He just
Listen,
went, we're dropping you here.
that's an absolute nightmare scenario. Just going back to the John Murray nightmare, Michelle says, I was with John Murray when he was bopped on the head. But what did he do to you to deserve that sort of response, I have to say, Mitch?
So we've often wondered
Oh,
who did it. It was Michelle.
Yeah, it was Michelle. She was
owning
there
up to it
all of the
this
time. Who knew? And Carl talks about cancer
my
of the
God.
penis happened in London.
This is the
Luton.
best thing ever.
What the hell is that?
So,
Is it a prod rock group?
No. Carl basically tried to get us all killed in Luton. So I don't, Laura. This was the week. Right, this
Oh,
was the.
Nelly's all in. And been
Oh,
caught
here we
by
go.
Scouts.
It's Nellyville.
King 10.
Oh,
Any
she's
kings
dominated.
about?
Needs to
Any
be a
kings
king.
about?
Gonna
Or
need a hit.
Jack?
Jack or a
King or
king.
Jack?
Oh.
Oh, unlucky Nelly.
Unlucky Nelly.
Scouts.
Scouts takes the chips.
Broken so many dreams. Does he know what he's just done?
Unlucky Nelly. That was a pretty darn decent effort. Well done.
Oh, are we just ending the show now then, Des?
No,
Nelly's
no,
out.
because
So
listen, I don't know if any of you guys know this, but Scouts is from Liverpool.
Oh, really?
He's from Liverpool.
Okay.
I only found this out recently.
Are there clues there? Yeah.
And he's on a big week. He is on a big week. It might be that his name is written. Who knows?
Is that the first time someone from Liverpool's actually won anything?
I'll tell you what, it's been a while, Laura. It has been a while.
Bloody hell.
Don't hate me.
Bloody hell.
I shouldn't have had that bottle of wine, should I?
I realised about an hour ago I'd run out of Prosecco and had a bit of a panic. And the tea boy who doesn't make the cup of tea had to go and find something else. There you go.
Did he get you some bubble mix? Lovely that stuff is, I believe.
Close.
Oh,
Gin
do
all
you
day.
remember Jaeger milk thanks to fucking Stu Wood?
Do you know,
Jaeger
I've got to be honest. No, I have to be honest. I think I'm in a vast minority here
Don't.
when I say that I really don't mind Jaeger milk. It tastes a bit like a Bailey's.
It tastes like feet.
So what is it? Jaeger with actual milk?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
basically just replace the Red Bull with milk.
With milk.
Why would you do that?
Oh, okay.
Stu Wood,
So
why would you do anything?
you know that
That's a good
picture
point.
you have of me, Laura, and Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the weekend where Stu introduced us all to Jaeger milk.
Oh, but that was also the weekend of one of my favourite moments ever. Is when
Stu
when
with a
I went to the bar-
helicopter.
Oh,
Helicopter penis.
yes. No, it was when we went up to the bar, and it was Tom who asked for some Jaegers. So obviously the bartender says, "How many Jaegers would you like?" He says, "Well,
Oh
have
my
you got
God.
a tray?" They went, "Yes." He went, "Well, fill the tray."
Fill the
And
tray,
bar-
mate.
They went, "How many? How many?" He went, "Fill the tray." Yes, but how many would you like? He just went, "Fill the fucking tray, man."
I just
Tiger bombs were born.
Oh my
What
God.
was the on about the helicopter penis?
Helicopter penis.
Yeah, that's definitely a joke. But I'm trying to remember the origins of it.
no idea.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh no, they've got the giggles, Lee.
Let's go back to Carl Pilgrim though and cancer of the penis because that was quite incredible. So that Friday night at Luton, which was the day before Laura turned up and called some guy Dane Bowers for the whole day, and Stu asked Simon Brooke if he wanted a small child. That Friday night, me, Karen, and Emma had been out on the piss, as you can imagine, I'm sure. And Carl
Every
had played
story.
Friday night comp. Every story. And we'd ended up back at the casino, and Carl had gone deep in the Friday night comp. And it got to about 2-3 in the morning. I think he busted out. So we were like, right, come on, we'll go back to the casino. Go back to the hotel. And we're all walking up the hill to the Premier Inn. Anyone that's been to Luton Casino knows there's a little hill. There's Premier Inn just under the underpass. And this guy's walking down the hill. And he sees, obviously, Carl in his wheelchair, sort of electric wheelchair, so he's self-propelling up the hill. Me, Emma and Karen staggering behind him. And he puts his hand out to Carl and he goes, "All right, mate," and tries to high-five him. And the first words that come out of Carl's mouth is, "No thanks, I don't want cancer of the penis." And this guy looked at Carl and he looked at us and he went, "What did you say?" And we were like, "Shit." So actually, what? And we were like, "Oh, he's going to get us stabbed in Luton." And what had actually happened was there had been a conversation that had been taking place as we were leaving the casino between Carl and Emma that had something to do with smoking and the effects of nicotine and, certain sexual acts. We'll just leave that. And they were having this conversation. He'd actually responded to Emma, but the guy had thought he'd responded to him, and the bloke's just standing there going, "What did you say? What did you say?" And I'm like, "Mate, leave it. It's fine. He's just leave him alone. He's disabled. Stop it." And he's like, "No. What did he say? You don't want what?" And I'm like, "Carl, please just full speed or whatever it is, mate. Turbo, go." And that was how Carl nearly got us killed in Luton. That was the same weekend where I actually saw John Murray do the Walk of Shame on the Saturday morning as well. But Oh.
I'll tell you what, guys. Listen, Scouse has just lost a big old pot. So it's his first big loss of the night, I think.
Yeah, so Tony's just asking what's the state of play now. So
Yeah,
the situation is Colin McCarthy needs to win this to win MVP for the week. Scouse needs to win this and have Matt come third for Purple Ackies to win the team event. That hand he's just lost against Colin is not going to help him out at all. And he's now in the hand with Matt.
He's fighting, though. Oh, there's a call.
Did you say if Scouts wins this, he can get MVP as well, or just if Colin wins it, he can get MVP?
So only Colin can win MVP now.
He's won the team event
for winning it, but
he's had an amazing couple of weeks, isn't he?
Scouse can win the team event if he wins it and can get Matt knocked out in third. I think is pretty much the only scenario that works now for Scouse. I'm just double checking that second is not good enough for Colin. I don't think it is. But this has gone as is normally the way on a Sunday night, right down to the wire. 3 players remaining, and they've all got something to play for,
Fantastic.
Which is just amazing.
So, I think on behalf of probably every APATer that has ever played an APAT before, when we actually eventually get back to being able to play a live APAT, be it this year or I think more likely next year, what are the chances of you coming along to do updates like the old days, just one last time, Des?
Oh, yay.
update.
Yeah, you see?
Well, you want me running around with my camera?
Absolutely. I want it to be just like, Lee and Des and old APAT from when we joined.
I said it a week or so ago. What I think would be absolutely phenomenal, right? Because I think it'd be incredibly funny, would be for us to do a live version of this, either on a Friday night or a Saturday night after play finishes or something, where we just get like we did at the Worlds in Manchester. We got everybody in a room and just had a bit of crack.
Oh, that was the best night.
Yeah. No, it just reached the point where I just didn't need to be there, because my work was done. My work was done early. Season 1, season 2, I could probably have stepped back then because Lee was in at that point, and just everybody was spot on. I remember I spent the first year or two just like moving chairs out of pictures and getting banners at the right angles and smiling at people and talking to people, and that was it then. That's what everybody did after that, apart from the moving chairs out of pictures. We still have issues with that. Hey, wouldn't it be nice to get back though?
It would be.
When I joined APAT back in 2012, 2013, it was yourself and Lee, and it would be wicked to have another APAT where you would whatnot. It'd be great.
Yeah, no, make no mistake about it. I'm sure I'll be at future APATs. They only invite me. They only invite me up now when there's a deal to be done. Is that right, Lee? I only get invited. If you see me turning up, there's a deal to be done somewhere.
Yeah, I only send my best man into bat when it comes to deal making. Otherwise, we leave him getting on with other things.
Right. If we need some coal for the burner.
Yeah, very much. If that's the case, but it'd be interesting just to see what happens, guys. I mean, what's your take on live poker? I mean, you've got any sort of appetite for it at the moment, or not?
You what? Sorry.
Do you have any appetite for live poker at the moment, or would you want to be out in a casino playing at the moment, or not?
I'd love to play an APAT. I'd love to go for an APAT. I think that'd be live poker that I'd want to play.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, like, I've got no desire to step into a casino. I know Grosvenor had high hopes of being able to open on the 4th of July. You couldn't have paid me to go into a casino next weekend. But I do have a real kind of, you know, a real hankering to get a proper game. But I think,
Yeah.
you know, like Laura says, I think I always want my first game back to be an APAT game and to see,
Definitely.
you know, the people that we haven't been able to see and the people that we've missed sort of throughout lockdown.
Me and you had a couple of things booked, didn't we, Joe, that we were meant to go and do. We had the races booked. We were coming up for yours was it for Jace's birthday or something?
We had the races, didn't we? We had,
it
was our anniversary weekend.
Yes, that was it.
And we had the girls' christenings. We had the christening, we had the races, we had Ben Greer's 40th birthday and stuff. So we had a lot going on.
Yeah, and we've missed all that. Like, I think we're all completely gutted that we're so, like, far away from our friends at the minute.
Yeah, oh, most definitely.
I think for me as well, obviously, like we mentioned all the stuff that I do at the university and my PhD, but let's not forget that my backup job is working in a pub. So I'm back to working in the pub as of next week, which is, if I'm honest, I'm absolutely bloody dreading it. You know, when you've got people who haven't been out in 4 months and you're trying to enforce rules, it's not the best prospect.
No, it's interesting. Just having been around today, you know, what I found was like I've got this neck scarf thing, right? And if I'm going up to the counter of a shop, I'll pull that up quickly, right? Just out of respect for the person behind the till. Because like the mask thing is it's very much about everybody else. It's not about you, right?
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a mind shock. Oh, Christ.
Scouse has
Oh,
hit
wow.
7 against
Bloody
Jack,
hell.
and he's bust Matt in 3rd place.
No!
Which
Wow.
means we are heads up, and it is as simple as this now. If Colin wins this, he wins MVP, and Ilfracombe will win the team event. If Scouse wins this, Purple Ackies are going to take the team event, and Charlie Kearns will win the MVP.
Oh, wow.
That is what we're down to.
Well, let's watch a bit of poker, guys. I tell you what, we are a poker show. We should watch a few hands. How about that?
Yeah.
This is it. They've both got something to play for. One is for their team, and one is for the individual. Yeah, let's see who gets this. And all the Ilfracombe guys can do now here is rail Colin and hope he does the job for them.
Wow, what a week it's been for Colin though. So yeah, and
It's been incredible, wasn't it, for the last couple of weeks? Really?
Yeah, and Scouse too has been on a hot run, and of course he's had a big week with the football. Did you hear the call I got from Scouse? The voicemail.
No.
You didn't hear that? Oh yeah. So I won't go through the whole story. But what I will say is, obviously, there was madness in Liverpool on Thursday night because of Liverpool winning the league, first time in 30 years. And I checked my phone the following day. Right, it was another phone, not my normal phone, another phone, and I found that I'd received a voicemail. Right, and this was it. I kid you not. I haven't set this up.
Today at 12:05 a.m.
I thought you might appreciate a little listen. It's just died down a minute, but you might get some more singing in a minute. I'll just leave it on. I'm going to stop singing for you.
Yeah, they stopped then and went, "Who the fuck is Des Duffy?" But there you go, guys. That was from Liverpool just before
that's brilliant.
just before they blew up the Liver building.
Oh, that's lovely though.
Yeah, it was
That's
nice.
really
It was nice to be thought of by one of the locals.
So what I said is, how great is this? So Scouse is out in Liverpool with however many thousands of others, absolutely drunk and celebrating the result. And he's for whatever, he's stopped and gone, I'm going to send Des a message.
Yeah.
I'm going to phone Des. And he's like,
Yeah.
Who does that?
Love him. Love Scouse.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Scouse is amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
He's just a nut job, though. That's the problem. He's so big, he's easily misunderstood, you know?
He came to play our BCPC summer tournament, I think the year before last, I think. And he ended up sat at my table, and it's another one of them games, you know, when you just don't stop laughing throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, he's a character.
he's the type of person you want to be at a table with because it just makes it enjoyable, makes it fun, and it's like the guys you mentioned before. You know, when you sat at a table with Stu and Tony and Todd, it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a point. Have you not asked me the BCPC questions?
Oh no, we haven't.
Oh my!
Oh, let's do that.
God, Laura, what are you doing?
Let me ask, guys, has one of you put your volume back up?
No, I'm just on my normal phone.
Okay.
No, I'm just on my phone as well. Everything else is on mute in here.
Okay, all right.
Apart from my dog's claws on the wooden floor. My dog's in bed.
Oh, is that what that was? I thought at one point Joe had hammered Jason. I thought she'd hit him with a mallet.
He only likes that on a Friday.
Laura, you said you wouldn't say anything.
What gentleman there? He called me quiet. He said like you'd strapped him up. What could I do?
Oh, steady on, girl.
Right, go on,
That's what he said.
fire the BCPC question before these two get all their chips in.
I'll tell you what, Colin's pushed in over the top. Scouse has got some chips in here.
Uh-oh.
He's not calling.
I don't think he's calling this, but quietly he'd began to, come back at Col. He'd taken a slight chip lead. It's going to reverse again now, but this could be a good heads up.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah,
So have you got the BCPC questions for Laura Des? Come on.
Oh, sorry, you're asking me if I got them. No, let me just go into the notebook and I can make up a few easily. The first, one of the first questions that we tend to ask is something like, I tell you what, who's the most obnoxious?
Oh, Tony.
No, not Tone.
Tony, definitely.
Really?
But he's not obnoxious in a negative way. It's not something that he does to be upsetting or anything like that. He's just Tony.
He's just Tony.
That personality that makes the game.
Does he still hang around with that golf club?
No, unfortunately, he punched the shit out of it in Vegas.
They broke up.
He had a blow up doll at one point called Simon.
I was going to say, he's still got his blow up Simon, though.
Yeah,
he had that at the BCPC team event, didn't he? That I went to. Yes.
Yeah, we went to things with him in me, Brian, Tony, Bry's missus, their friends, Courtney, and a few others, and he brought the blow up doll with him.
Okay, listen. Question 2. This is an important one. Who's the worst dresser?
The worst what? Sorry.
Dresser. You know who dresses like they're still in the 1970s.
Oh, Jesus, this is tight.
And this doesn't have to be one of the older members. This could easily. I thought this could be the toughest one. I have to say.
Sorry, Des. Can I just interject here?
Yeah.
When you say worst dresser, does that include people that put their clothes on inside out or back to front?
Oh yeah, that I think that would probably come into that category.
Any idea, Laura?
You bastard. I would probably say Steve Healy because of
Steve, the bull, right? The bull.
Reigning MVP for squads. Yeah.
Well done, Steve. You've just taken an award. So this is a tough one, and this might be Tony again. Who has the ego in the group? Who has the ego?
That'd be a toss-up between Tony and I think Adam Phelan, because Adam's a really good player.
Yeah.
And he does tend to do the whole hand dissect afterwards.
Okay.
But yeah, I think perhaps Adam.
Okay, well done, Adam. You're. I mean, it's not great though, the one you've just won, but it's nice to get some recognition, right? Who would you give your last 20 quid to?
Oh, sorry guys, I think my internet dropped out there. I lost it for a minute.
Okay, let me give this one to you again. Who would you give your last £20 to in the BCPC?
Oh, all of them.
Ah. You've only got 20 though.
Okay. Who would I give my last 20 quid to? Probably. Oh God. I think probably Jack. Jack Hipkiss. He's not an active member at the minute, but Jack is the guy that goes to the bar and brings you a pint.
Sweet.
He never asked for one back. He said he'd come in to play poker, and I said, "Oh no, I'm beating."
Brilliant. That is the one to win, right? So nice job, Jack. And the last one, right? Who keeps the group together? Who's the glue?
Oh, Brian.
Ah, there we go.
Without Brian, everything fall apart.
There we go. Brian, have you met Brian's missus? You must know her well.
Yeah, I know the house quite well.
Yeah, I mean, they seem like a really strong couple. And of course, I know of their daughter who's a doctor in Australia, right?
Yeah, in Australia.
So that must
And,
be
like-
a source of both pride, but also a bit of sadness to have your daughter that far away.
Yeah, like, it's lovely hearing about her achievements and stuff, obviously, with the journey I'm doing as well. And like, so I always look at Brian and Kaz as like a second mum and dad to me. So, yeah, it's really lovely.
There you go, guys. Brian is the glue,
He is brilliant.
Definitely.
just like Laura is the bubbles.
I mean,
True story.
I've only met one type of bubble in 3 years.
It's a good one, though. Oh, dear. Meanwhile, Scouse has he's quietly crept back in front here. But it's still
Chips
pretty
have really
tight.
gone back and forth. quite a
Yeah,
lot
it's
on
pretty
this.
tight. It's a good game.
Yeah, well, they're playing about 30 bigs, aren't they, roughly, as an average stack? So, so it's still very much up for grabs. Colin, yeah, Scout's got about 30 bigs, and Colin's got about 25 of what's in the middle.
Yeah. Listen, Scouse he's playing a storming line here. He's saying there was some method to my madness earlier. Apparently, in dumping his chips to Matt. Or to who did he dump his chips to?
Colin.
To Colin. There we go. And he's managed to get heads up. Well, that's another level. Oh, where are these chips going to? Over to Scouse.
Yeah.
7-4, wasn't it? I think.
2 pair, yeah.
Well, we know Colin's not afraid to shove them all in. So I'm getting the sense that this one could become pretty interesting now.
Yeah, I mean they've both got something to play for, haven't they?
Oh,
Obviously, you've got Scouse with the team aspect. You've got Colin with the individual. So I don't know how much that necessarily changes your game, possibly. But
Well, I tell you what, I think it changes your game if there's 3 or 4 left. But I think once your head's up, it's like you don't need to think about your team anymore or anything else. You just got to win the game, right? Because if you don't win it, your team doesn't win it. So yeah, there's pressure, maybe a little bit of added pressure, but it's not like, oh, do I play cautiously till 2 or 3 people go out? It's not like that.
yeah, I think if there's any added pressure, it would always be on Scouse because there's a team aspect.
Yeah,
Colin's
yeah,
playing for the
yeah.
individual MVP, so
Yeah.
I mean, I would also feel absolutely gutted for the Ilfracombe guys
Yeah.
here if Scouse wins this, because you'd have genuinely thought their lowest scoring guy, Matt, finishing 3rd tonight, you'd have just said, well, that's nailed it for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have just said that is more than enough to see the win.
So Carla's saying, Colin has been awesome in the last couple of weeks. And Joe came back with, +1. Good to see some of the old East of England lot smashing it. So that is good to see.
What about Midlands?
what's that?
I said the East of England. I said, is the Midlands not represented?
Oh, this is going back. This was the old regional league. We definitely would have had Midlands teams in there for sure.
I'm assuming Brian probably was at the forefront of the Midlands team, I would have thought, wouldn't he?
Yeah. So East of England would have been just Norwich.
Hey, easy, bloody hell.
Yeah, okay, we'll throw in Ipswich. We'll give you Ipswich as well, but that's it. That's your lot.
No.
Joe is literally like from every corner of the UK. She can play for Scotland, but she lives down south. She's on the east. She's like a fucking patchwork of.
She is.
Like,
She is.
she's like fucking
Think
area
it's all
bingo.
pies,
is Joe.
Laura. All the pies.
Is that because you've like had every place in you? Or...
Oof.
I love you.
It's all right, guys. We'll bleep that out.
I'm so pleased that when I did my first APAT show, my dad was like, I was trying to explain to my dad what APAT TV was.
Oh, God.
And he subscribed to the APAT channel, and tomorrow morning he's going to sit there listening to you asking
dear.
whether his daughter's had every born of the fucking UK, you know,
dear.
Laura.
Dear Joe Dad, I take this moment to humbly apologise for my language. She's a very lovely person, I'm sure.
Oh my God.
That's-
The kid probably met you when he knows what to expect, isn't it?
Yes, okay. To be honest, it would have been unacceptable on a Sunday, but basically we're into Monday morning now, so that's all
Oh,
right.
we're
So,
fine.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
matter.
Scouse is just creeping up here, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just slowly chipping away, isn't he?
See, for both of these, like with their stack sizes, this is where I find heads up quite easy. Because if I'm Colin at half the stack size, I'm probably doing what he's doing there on a really dry flop, just giving it a go.
To be fair, most men do give it a go, even if the flop is dry.
Oh dear. Is it too late to cancel Laura? Can we cancel? Let's cancel Laura.
No.
We'll remove her entire track tonight.
No, we're realising it's much more entertaining if one of the guests can't see the poster. It's far more interesting.
I did say I'm probably the worst person to do anything like this because I do say my mouse works quicker than my brain.
Don't
no
worry.
kidding.
Don't worry, Laura. We've never had 26 people on the stream at this time of the night ever before.
Right.
I apologise to you. I don't think I've been quite restrained tonight.
Restrained?
It's been very good. It's been good stuff.
Like we mentioned when you called us for the chat in Coventry, Lee, when me and you were on that table, the whole liquid me thing.
Oh, yeah.
Liquid me and burger me.
Yeah, this was the evening. I had an argument with a dealer because I was eating a burger. And when I was eating this burger, the dealer kept shouting at me because of getting grease on the cards. But every time I touched the burger, I wiped my hands. I was like, I've just wiped my hands. What's the matter with you? Anyway, as the night went on, I got a little more drunk and things got become a little bit hazy. The next day, I go down to the casino floor, and as I'm sat at the tables looking at my friends who are still in the poker and stuff.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Colin needs a 7.
Oh, I need
or a heart.
Heart.
Oh,
wow.
There it is. Wow. Scouse wins it for the Ackies. Unbelievable finish. Right, that's it. We're done.
Wow.
What about that? I mean, obviously Lee is feverishly now writing or, adding those last two positions in the spreadsheet. He'll then give us an official result. And hopefully it will be as we think it is. But it sounds like the Ackies have won the team event. And it sounds like Charlie Kearns has won the MVP. What an effort from Colin for his team. Wow.
Sounds like Scouse has pushed us into third. What a knob.
So listen, guys, this is what an APAT BOC looks like. You win everything.
Wow.
So how are we looking, Lee?
Just
Is
waiting for it
the
to
vid
update.
is the vid printer working yet?
Yeah, just waiting for it to update. What an end that was.
Oh, it's incredible wind. It's been Scouse's week, guys. It's been Scouse's week. Did I mention he's from Liverpool? It's just
I don't know how you figured that out.
I just learned that recently. In about 2009. When I think he was running around Walsall. Oh,
would help if I call him Stephen and not Steve. That would help.
Okay. There was a formula issue.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just waiting for the official results, guys. So Simon Crackle says, I was shouting for a heart.
I think I can imagine he probably was. Yeah. So so basically, Charlie Kearns is MVP for the week. Scouse sneaks up into second spot.
Wow.
4 points behind Charlie, and Simon Cracknell from Ilfracombe finishes in third. And Purple Ackies take it by 21 points in the end. They are the team winners this week, with Ilfracombe Poker Squad in second and Joe's ABCD finishing in third place.
Wow.
Oh, well done, guys.
Wow. Incredible stuff. Listen, what a great night we've had. A huge big thank you to Joe and Laura for joining us. It was an absolute blast. It was great fun. I hope we can do it again. So thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And of course, to all of you guys out there who were playing tonight or just who came along for the chat, and a big special well done, of course, to all of our winners. But to Nelly, right into her 80s on the final
Oh my
table,
God.
playing for the big prizes. What a spectacular win that would have been. So well done to Nelly. Great to see you out there and doing your stuff. But that's it for us guys for tonight. So as you know, the Poker Week continues as is, Monday, Tuesday, and so on. I think for Lee and myself, we might be back with football during the week. We'll come back on that. But other than that, I think it's next Saturday night, Lee.
Yeah, it is.
Next Saturday night.
Next Saturday and Sunday for the poker. Yeah, I think we're probably going to do at least one, maybe two football shows during the week. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see how that goes. But listen, thanks everyone for joining us. Have a great week, and we will be back next Saturday night. Okay, night, everyone.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Cheers.
Bye.